And we're just two buddies, so we don't have to like be
Yeah.
performative in any way. So don't feel
Uh,
weird. Oh, I can mark. Also, my first time using this program, which makes it so easy these days for anyone to just start a thing.
yeah, just get up and go.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's
I'm
like
actually
that's what people think is the hardest is the starting. But like the more I've done stuff like this, is the more that I realize like, oh shit, dude. Like literally, if you just start, you're gonna figure it all out.
yeah. You're forced to. That's why I was like, let's get a date. Let's figure it out because like I really want to talk to you while it's so fresh. It's been one
Hmm.
that what now like a month, maybe a
Yeah,
month and a
yeah,
half.
literally just over a month
Yeah,
since it's happened.
that's crazy. So all right, so this is let me just tell you like the outline.
Hmm.
But we'll keep it. It doesn't have to follow it. I just feel like always have like barriers, and then you can just break those barriers. But at least you have something like to go off of. Cool, and I can
Hmm.
mark. That's so cool. I can add a mark for when like a cool moment or something. All right, I'll figure it out as we go. So we can take as long as we want, like 60 minutes. Do you have a hard stop by any chance? I want to make sure like we're good on your time and stuff.
Yeah, no, I got this room for 3 hours, so
Let's
so the
go.
place closes. Yeah.
Call it a Joe Rogan special right now. Fucking 3 hours. We're gonna be talking about ayahuasca soon.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so
Mm.
time map 90 minutes. Okay, cool. So opening, I want to talk about like origin stories. I feel like I've been reminiscing on it, like how we like met. It was literally mile 15 of a marathon when we first
Right.
physically met. So that's cool. Getting into it, just like maybe a little bit of that marathon journey. That was that your first marathon?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was
Okay.
the first one, the maiden voyage of it that started it all. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's super special. And like you said, dude, it was insane how we bumped into each other during the middle of that. Like literally just past the halfway point of it.
Yeah, it was like going to the wall, and I got a story about it, but like you saved me for sure, and you put me on to Martin, so kind of like that era, what we did after, cool stuff, hanging with friends, and then maybe how we kept in touch, and then I would love to get into like why you particularly did that race, how it kind of influenced you leading up to the decision to do Ironman, who you are, and then get into like Ironman training. So like what happened. 2 months is you're gonna it's a lot of pressure to do in 2 months, like injuries, the whole thing, like buying the thing,
Mhm.
financials if you have it, you can ballpark whatever you want to get into, and then all of that. I would then want to kind of like holistic, then kind of go into run, bike, swim, like specifically what you were doing because I think that's really cool, especially again the 2 month time limit, and then I really want to touch on if there was any sort of like pushback from your family. A big thing of this is like kind of leaning into Latino culture, Hispanic
Mhm.
culture, a lot of that like chosen suffering versus default, they had different suffering. There's a lot of suffering here. So I was talking about that, getting into that and then finally ending just with you, man. I just want to like, who are you? And we can actually start there if you want, but who are you? What are you all about? All that good stuff. And then I got like a closer for us and that's about it. So pretty simple and we can go anywhere you want, but that's kind of it.
Cool, cool. Hell yeah, sounds good. Sounds like a plan. It's a good
Hell yeah, man.
roadmap.
So let me go here. So we can start now. Jamie, you can start it. This is not a podcast. This is not a series. This is just going to be talking to cool people doing cool shit with unique perspectives, unique just angles on things. You have a really great perspective. I think we vibe a lot. Immediately, we like just kind of hit it off when we first met. So maybe I'll let you kind of tell the story and then I'll hop in. But where did we kind of first meet? How was it? And then yeah, I want to hear your side of it because I have some cool stuff to talk about it too.
Yeah, so the way I remember it was, dude, I was just browsing Instagram one day and then one of your vids popped up on my For You page and you were talking about the Mexico City Marathon and I was like, okay, cool. Like this dude's doing the marathon as well. He seems like he's somewhat of a novice in it as well, that he's stepping into it as a new world as well. So yeah, let me give this dude a follow. Seems like a cool guy and checked out the rest of the content that you had on your page and I was like, yeah, this is a cool guy, cool. I know I made some type of comment on there. I think I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be my first one too or whatever. And yeah, from there I know we just shared like little like quick messages back and forth, like just encouraging stuff. And then from there, like we just kept in touch, following up to the day of the marathon. I remember we were messaging each other like where we're gonna be at, if we went to the expo already, and all this other stuff. And yeah, I mean, come race day, I think you said it was like 15 or 16 miles in, dude. We're over halfway through the marathon here and there in Mexico City, and then all of a sudden I just hear someone say my name, and I'm like, dude, nobody knows my name out here. Like, who knows me as Taco out here? None of my friends or family are in the middle of all of this. And then turn around and I see you, and I'm like, holy shit, it's him, dude. So yeah, man. And then like you said, dude, it was just like instant, like I guess because like there's community and suffering, so like instant like connection, instant amistad, I think is how we would say it in Spanish. We were just started chatting like nothing, dude. It's crazy to think back now, because like any other person would probably be like, there's no way you can just have like casual conversations while you're so deep into a marathon, or while you still have, what was it, like 7 miles left or whatever, 8 miles left or whatever. And no, dude, for like a mile and a half, 2 miles, we stuck together and we were just chatting back and forth. So that was really awesome. But yeah, man, that was a cool way to meet an internet friend and for the first time.
It was pretty, I don't want to call it dramatic, but it was dramatic in my head because I was struggle busing. I for sure we did I don't know if I told you, but we did like a 3 hour bike tour the day before in Coyoacan
Oh.
for the Frida Kahlo
Mhm.
Museum, and I didn't think about it. I didn't like realize that it was gonna just burn my legs. And then now on top
Yeah.
of that, we were just all day like just touring Coyoacan, which is a really nice part of Mexico, and it definitely hurt me. And then the elevation too, and like training for the marathon. But I was like, so when we caught up, it was like you said, the wall, and I was like, oh, this is so sick. Like I got a buddy, like we're hanging out, and like we've been talking for like months online, and just kind of like chit chatting about like what are you doing for the marathon, like how you training, blah blah blah. And but then, bro, I was just you caught me in a moment where I was really really struggling, and I don't know how it came up, but you were like, hey man, try this, and you gave me a Martin caffeinated gel. Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, you had mentioned something like, "Oh, dude, I think I'm about to cut out here soon," because like we were keeping up with each other, and then you mentioned something like, "Yeah, dude, I think I'm gonna have to like slow down here in a bit, dude, but you keep going." You mentioned something like that, and then it hit me because like that was my original plan, was to take one at like mile, like halfway through, was to take one of the caffeinated gels halfway through, and then to take one like maybe in the last 5K or whatever. But like to sidetrack a little bit, that's the crazy thing about like race day, is that you go in with this like solid plan, and then like in the moment you're just feeling different than what you thought you would be, and so you make your adjustments to the plan on the way. So I can't remember if I had already actually taken the one, or if I just decided to skip it or whatever. But I know I had at least the one on there to give you. So whenever you mentioned that, I was like, okay, dude, well, here, this has caffeine in it. It'll give you some type of boost, is what went through my head. It was like, well, it sounds like he needs it more than I do right now. Like I'm fine. I'll find something. So yeah, I was just like, here, snag this, dude. Like I'm sure it can't hurt you at this point in the races. What went through my head. So yeah, that's how I gave you that the caffeinated Morton gel.
And ever since, bro, I was always like, I don't need to spend that much on gels. I'll buy premium for Martin. It's something about it's so
Mm.
good. And this is no, I'm not sponsored. We're not sponsored here. We don't have anything like
Right.
that. But it's just so good. I'm willing to pay the premium for that gel. Just ever since that day, I think it just like marked me. And
Hmm.
it's yeah, I use it all the time. I bought an 18 pack the other day because I was like,
Wow.
these are amazing. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
so
yeah.
good. So that was like my pivotal moment where I was like, this is so cool. And yeah, I remember I was like, hey man, you don't got to stick with me. I'm kind of like hitting that wall for sure. You gave me that. It felt good. But yeah, that was a really cool event that day. It was, what was like did anything crazy happen? I mean, there was a guy wearing like old toys that I started cramping at like
Hmm.
1820. I don't know. I posted a video about it, but I had my meta glasses on. But 1820 started cramping so hard when you started hitting like the Adidas kind of like
Hmm.
things before you got into the center. I was like, oh, so cool. And I just cramped up. Cramped up twice and I fell. But this guy comes over with like full toy. He's old, man. He's like 60, 70, like,
Yeah.
but not like a fitness 60, 70. He's like an old man.
Like you would
And
have never thought this dude was gonna be in a marathon.
no shot, man. He looked like he came off the street, like he was like something, because he had all these toys on him. Anyways, but he that was one cool moment. He just stopped. It was like, "You okay?" Like I was like, "I'm okay." Like he was like, "Okay," but it was just so sweet, and it was like that was one of my moments. But like, did you have one where it was like something like that, or obviously we met up, but did anything else happen that kind of stood out for you that day?
Man, nothing like that. Cause like thankfully so, thinking back on it, and especially like after the marathon, the weeks after it is whenever I experienced my first running injury, is when I developed the IT band issue. And that's when it like finally hit me when I was talking to the physical therapist that I went to go see, was that like the whole training block leading up to the marathon day, like nothing ever bad happened to me. No rolled ankles, no pulled anything, no IT band issues, no tight hips, nothing significant to where it sidelined me. So yeah, no cramping during the marathon or anything like that. No head zoomies from like dehydration or anything like that. No starving. So nothing major like that. No tripping, no falling. The only thing that like I vividly remember throughout the race was seeing people hold posters of the other runners' dogs. If you remember seeing any of that, you would see people with posters of the people with their dogs, or of just the dog, and with phrases like creo en ti papá, or I'm waiting for you at the finish line, whatever they had written in Spanish and whatnot. But I remember that, and that like hit me hard, because literally I think it had to be in June. In June, I had to put my dog down because she was just she had a lot going on with her, and it was simultaneously like and it's gonna sound bad, but like simultaneously the easiest and the hardest decision I had to make, because from when I got her as a puppy, I'd always told people like, the day that I take her and the vets say like, hey, there's absolutely no guarantee that she's going to be 100% again. Like there's nothing we can do. The only thing we can do is like prolong it. But when you prolong something, you just delay the inevitable, obviously, but you're just also increasing the time of suffering as well. So for me, whenever it was to that point where I took her to the vet, and we scanned her, we x-rayed her, and then we found all these things wrong with her, and they were like, hey, we can start off with steroids, and then we can see where we can go from there. And of course, like the other thing is finances as well. Like you can dump, like if money wasn't an issue, I would have dumped everything into it. I would have spent whatever dollar amount there was to see what we could fix. But obviously finances playing a role into it as well. So yeah, I mean, I had her for like close to 10 years. She did her thing. She was a part of my life for 10 years. And I saw her suffering, and I was like, there's no, like it would be so selfish of me to say like, no, I don't want to let her go. Let's keep doing whatever. So
What was her
yeah,
name?
that's so. Raven. Raven was her name.
Raven.
Yeah, she
Rest in
was
peace,
a
Raven.
German
Shout
Shepherd.
out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, she was a German Shepherd pit bull mix. I got her from one of my buddies that I
As a puppy?
graduated high school with. So yeah, as a puppy. So she's
Oh, that's
basically like
nice.
she was in the family
Yeah.
forever. What it feels like.
Your formative years, like 10 years from, a decade ago, you were still a child. So it's like your formative years were with
Yeah.
her. And so that's crazy. I'm sorry, man. Yeah.
Mm,
We had a sort of a scare. So I have a little cattle dog. His name's Benny, but he got bit by
mm.
a copperhead probably like a
Oh
year
wow.
ago. It was
Mm,
crazy. And bro, I get you with like the finances. It was a pretty penny to like get the anti-venom and take him to the vet.
mm-hmm.
And of course we're going to do it, not only because he's young, but like, I don't know. It wasn't crazy till I was like, we got it. We can do it. But like, I can't imagine, tens or maybe five, 5 to 10. And just like, it's tough. It's a tough decision. And like, I mean, we're not in the best place for healthcare. So imagine pet healthcare is just
No,
like,
yeah.
we're not, there's no favoritism for our pets here at all.
No, yeah, and that was the other thing, because like one of my other buddies, his wife, she's a vet, like a vet tech. So I asked her about pet insurance, because obviously, like I obviously want to get another dog in the future, whenever I'm ready again. I asked her about it, and she was like, it's like a slippery. It's more like it's kind of like a band-aid. Like it's just gives you a peace of mind, but it doesn't necessarily do a whole lot to you, because like when essentially the way she explained it, or how I remember it, was like when you when you get a new dog, you don't know what could be wrong with them yet. So if you get the insurance when they're fresh, like as a puppy, the bite back is going to be like, oh, well, that's a pre-existing condition or whatever. Or, you picked a pug, so of course they're not going to breathe right. Or, you picked a Staffordshire, or, Bull Terrier, or you picked a Bulldog. These dogs are already have breathing issues and things like that. So, it's one of those things where like, it's something that I definitely want to research more to think about later on. But yeah, man, yeah, like you said, it's hard. She was the last one because my buddy kept the dad and the mom. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
like they had dad and mom with them forever, and then like dad passed away because he got an infection from after like he broke a bone or something. So they had to put
Oh,
dad down, and then she had a twin sister, and the twin sister
what?
had to be put down. Yeah, she had to be put down because I think she snapped at one of the inside dogs one day, and it was like, hey, like we can't risk it again. They, not that it's favoritism or anything, but their mom really loved the inside dogs, and
Yeah.
it was one thing where like if they snap once, then you really don't know where it is, like where it's
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
lead to. So just precaution. So they had to put her down, and then mom got put down too. So literally, my girl was the last of the living of the bloodline, dude. So
Yeah.
it was super hard to let her go because like now, like we just have memories of her photos and all this stuff. So like, but now like there's nothing physical, there's nothing that we can hold, like this and say like, oh, this is them, this is whatever. So that's why those signs hit me hard because I'm just thinking like, like
Yeah.
when I go home, she's not gonna be there for me to show her the medal and all this stuff.
Yeah. Oh, man, where are you from in Mexico?
So my family comes from Matamoros, Tamaulipas, so that's right across the border from Texas. Literally, like from where I live, it's about like a 4-hour drive to
Wow.
Brownsville, which is actually where I was born at, and then
Yeah.
from there, 10-minute drive to the border, and we walk over. And I still have that's where my dad lives, and that's where my grandma and a lot of my uncles still live as well. So it's
Dang,
not
you're
too
close.
far away
Yeah.
from me.
I remember. Yeah, your
Yeah.
dad said he had driven, right?
No,
Or
I
no?
drove to my dad. I drove to
That's what it
Matamoros,
was.
and then from there we flew out to Mexico City.
Flew out. Yeah. 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 There's like so it's so funny. Like there's how things connect. But like I just sent my grandma a little bit of cash to get a new bed for her dog and some
Hmm.
toys because it's like her best buddy. It's this like we're just sticking on dogs for right now for a second, but like
Yeah,
the Mexican people, although there's a lot of street dogs, they treat their like they treat their like pets as like just like another family member, not like a pet where it's
for
like
sure.
time to take out the dog. It's like like yelling at
Yeah,
them,
yeah.
like treating them like a kid. It's so crazy. So they humanize them even more, and I just there's like such a special bond that I see whenever like I go and visit family, and my grandma's like just talking to the dog, just like full
Mhm.
sentences and kind of like that's her buddy. So she really values
Mhm.
him, and I'm like I'm gonna help you take care of him because maybe you have everything you need, but like if the dog lives, if the dog is happy, you're happy, and yeah, there was a lot of cool signs that day in general. Actually, there should be a whole, by the way, like documentary on marathon signs of different like
Dude,
countries and stuff because
absolutely,
it's
yeah.
like deep rooted like inside jokes from every country. Like New
Mhm.
York had its own like pizza or whatever bagels,
Yeah.
and then Mexico had its like ponte las pilas and like
Yeah, yeah,
échale
yeah.
ganas, like all these sayings.
Yeah,
I
tu
thought it was
falta
really
un
cool.
chingón is like, yeah, it's just little things that like you can only get from the culture itself that
Yeah.
like only the Mexican culture is gonna
There
understand.
was there was so much like anime to like reference because I feel like I don't know
Mhm.
like Mexico's really into like Dragon Ball Z and stuff. So I saw a lot of that
Mhm.
and like Mario, like the classic video games that Mexico just like holds on
Mhm.
to. Because I ran New York City like a couple months after, and I was able to like
Mhm.
pretty closely in time see those two different like types of huge cities, same energy, different vibes. Like
Mhm.
no one Mexico City, you were going on a bridge, there was people in those like dinosaur costumes,
Yeah,
inflatables.
yeah, yeah.
You
I
remember
remember
that?
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was so cool. And
It's
I was like,
funny.
only here.
Yeah, and now that you mention that, actually, so yeah, I ran Houston Marathon at the beginning of January this year, and then at the end of January, we saw that Kanye was having the concert in Mexico City, me and a
Oh
buddy
yeah,
of
yeah.
mine. And so, of course, we're huge Kanye fans. And so, he had never been, and I'd already been to Mexico, so I knew more or less I knew my way around. And I was like, yeah, dude, tickets are there, like they're the same. When you do the conversion rate, the tickets are about the same price as what they would be over here. And then I told him, it's like, dude, flying from where my family lives, flying from Matamoros to Mexico City is super cheap. It's just a 4-hour drive. I think if we time it right, we can do it on, because funny enough, me and a bunch of my buddies we all work together at the same place, just in different departments. So every once in a while, our schedules will line up till we get the same weekends off. So I was like, if we time it right, we can get it on the weekend off or whatever, or it
That's
looks like
cool.
the weekend is off, all this other stuff. So anyway, we ended up back in Mexico City for this stuff, and then we're touring around, we're driving around everywhere, and then of course we end up going to places where me and you or people ran during the marathon, dude. And one of the coolest things to me was that you can still see the three blue stripes on the road at certain places that we had, that they set up for us to
Yeah,
follow
yeah.
through all of that. So I
That's
just
so
think
funny.
that's like really cool. That I'm pretty sure, because I'm thinking about going back at in September for like a birthday trip,
Oh, nice.
and like I'm like pretty eager to go back to see if like I can still see those lines, and I should be, because of course the marathon's gonna happen in August. It happens in August all the time, so it'll literally be
Hmm.
right after the marathon. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Forever we'll know what those stripes are. We'll be like, the
dude, for
stripes.
real.
Yeah, yeah. It was, bro. Another one was like they were handing out Coke, juice, any sort of liquid in the bags with a
And the
straw,
bags, yes, dude, I
or
love
you would
that. I
just
didn't
puncture
snag
it.
any.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. But yeah,
And
I've seen that was just like so like, oh yeah, this is home. Like this is like, this is what I know and what I recognize. I've never drank
yeah,
it out of the bag before, but I knew that's a very common thing over there. So when I
yep,
saw it, I was like, dude, this is so convenient, because like versus like handing, like, here in the States, people will hand out the bottles of Gatorade, or the bottles of a Coke can, or whatever, or a 16-ounce can or whatever. And then you don't know what to do with it, because you gotta hold on to it, right? You gotta hold on
yeah,
to it till you find the next dumpster. Whereas
yeah,
there, we were really lucky where we could like grab it, like chug it if you really wanted to, and then dump it right there, because everybody else was there already, sweeping everything up. So yeah, that
yeah,
that was really
yeah,
cool.
yeah. All the little treats, all it was so good. Super dope that you went to go see Kanye. Totally forgot he did that. It was so like random too.
Right? Yeah, yeah, man.
So
Yeah, it
random.
was insane. So the whole time, after we secured the tickets and everything, the whole time I kept joking with people like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go see Kanye in Mexico City," and they're like, "Really? He's going to Mexico City?" I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I'm gonna go see Kanye in Espanol."
It,
And as just a joke, yeah. And then, dude, funny enough, like he actually has a song in Spanish, so
he
he
does. He
started singing
does.
that.
Yeah, you're
Yeah, yeah.
right.
So he started singing that, and then I was like, "Oh wow, what a full circle moment for me!" Like, who
Yeah.
would have thought?
Yeah, yeah, he
Dude,
does. I
so
forgot
like,
that.
what's it like running through the five boroughs?
It was pretty crazy. So how that bib came about, it was right before Mexico City. Like I submitted a video for a brand who had an extra bib, and I was like, let me just. I kind of knew I had known them from a while back, but they really blew up. It's shout out Little Words Project, by the way. Let's just they're like they're bracelets, and they really like value kindness, and they have a really cool brand, and
Mhm.
they've grown to a lot. They're in Disney Springs, like they're huge. So I like shot my shot, made a little video. My girlfriend recorded it in like 2 minutes, where I'm just like, I'm running Mexico City, and next thing I want to do is run New York City for CHOP, the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, in collaboration with da da da, and it worked, and it was awesome. Got to go to New York City, which that's where I'm from. I'm not New York City, but like New York. We're 2 hours.
Mhm.
Grew up 2 hours north of the city, and to go back there though for a marathon was such a different vibe, because like the streets were filled. You know what I mean? And it was so funny too, because like in Mexico, I had my family and a couple of friends and my girlfriend come and like support me and follow me around, and it was fairly easy. Like they didn't have too hard of a
Mhm.
time getting around from like point A to point B and C and whatnot, especially when we go to the park, because you kind of zigzag in and out. Chapultepec Park. But New York City, bro, it was so crazy, because you start in Staten Island. I was like, do not go to Staten Island for the beginning. It's a bridge, anyways.
Mhm.
Just meet me. I think the first spot was Brooklyn, and then the second spot was First Street and Fifth Street, because that's already Manhattan over there near the park. And it was dope, dude. Like it's just like, first of all, New York City's massive. You just keep running, and you're like, I haven't even hit like Manhattan yet,
Yeah.
and it's crazy how big it is. Oh, the bridges, by the way, also massive inclines. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, you just don't realize like how big these things are. These things that we've
How was
constructed, and
the
then you run on them.
how was the roar? Because there's a section where they
Oh
say like you
yeah,
can hear the roar, right? How was that? Like just hearing
it
that
was
in person,
nice.
dude.
Well, it was nice because that bridge was your first bridge, I think. I forget which one, but
Mhm.
yeah, man, legs were on fire, and you're just going through there, and yeah, you do hear like a and it was pretty cool. And then because I think you turn and then you like kind of do a turn and you see a bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
It was really cool. But then there's like the silence too in the bridge. Like
Mm-hmm.
everyone's like, oh, you just hear
Just
footsteps.
footsteps and
Yeah.
breathing, and then
And that was pretty fun. And some people would yell and be like, "Let's go!" and like just
yeah.
excitement. It's a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the larger marathons that they had in New York City, but that was really cool. I know you suggest it, but like and you have to kind of win the lottery, but or do like
The charity.
a charity events, but super worth it. It's so cool. And yeah, like if you have family, like just have them meet you in Manhattan because anywhere else
No, for sure,
is
yeah.
no shot you're gonna get there.
Dude, because funny enough, like I was in Austin like sometime I think at the beginning of this month,
Hmm.
but I went to this bar that's directly across from the hotel that I love staying at, and the bartenders there were actually from Jersey. So they were like telling me how
Jersey.
like when they grew up, yeah, when they grew up, they were just always going over to just hopping the ferry and then going over to New York and spending the day there whenever they would play hooky from school and shit like that.
That's cool.
And I asked him, I was like, did you guys like, because he had the bartender's brother ended up showing up as well later on into the evening, and I was like, oh, did you guys ever get to witness the marathon, the New York Marathon? And they're like, no, no, we never did. Like we're not really into that or whatever. I was like, oh, okay, okay. I was like, no, yeah, well, the New York, and I explained to them, I was like, yeah, New York Marathon, it's like one of the majors. Like if you run it, you get like it's part of a process of collecting stars and all this other shit. And they're like, oh, okay, well, it's typical questions like, well, how far is it? How long is it? Blah blah blah. And then I told him I was like, well, what makes New York special, from what I know, is that you get to run through the boroughs. So you get to run through all of New York, quite literally,
Yeah.
dude. So you get to experience every aspect of it. And they were just like mind blown, like, holy shit, dude. Like I never
Yeah.
knew that. Like that's how it went, and this and that. So
By the way,
I was,
you only dip into the Bronx all the way at the top. You like go on a bridge, you dip in a
uh-huh.
little bit, and then you come back out. So you technically
Oh,
do,
okay, okay.
but it's funny because
Uh-huh.
like you just touch it, and then Staten Island, you like start there. So it's mainly
Mm-hmm.
Brooklyn and Brooklyn, Queens, and then Manhattan, and then you just touch the tips of Staten Island and the Bronx. So
Okay,
they're
okay.
smart. They're like five boroughs, but like you just kind of
Yeah,
dip your
it
toe into
counts.
two of them. Yeah, it
Yeah.
counts. I will say the starting line uh, was so cool. There is like the Staten Island Bridge, huge, massive, and it's just like the kickoff. They played Frank Sinatra. What's it called? New York City. What's that song? New York. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, I
They
think that's
just
what it is, like New York, New York, or
huge military cannons, like empty shells, and then dun dun dun. It was so dope. It was fire. And then getting there, you were on a ferry, and that was really cool. And it was really simple, so simple. Like by the way, the logistic teams or whatever, like they've been doing this for a long time. Sh- Props to them. Like I was like, it's New York City. Getting around is hard. It was pretty easy to get to everything, to the
hmm
start line, which was so organized, so cool. Wasn't waiting too long. You get shuttled over there, so that was really nice. Because marathon mornings can
hmm
be so like just like
hectic.
chaotic and
Well, what
yeah,
threw
just to
me
get to the
off is
start line.
like how late y'all start into the day compared to like what Mexico City was and
Oh my
compared to
god,
like
yeah,
what
that too.
Houston was for me and for what the Ironman was for me as well. It was like, man, dude, that's pretty nice. Like you can essentially sleep in and then still get up and still be ready, so you don't have to adjust your schedule too much, especially if you're traveling.
Yeah, and the night before any race is you
The
don't get any
shittiest
sleep.
sleep you will ever get, dude. That's what I was telling my buddies
Terrible. Yeah.
for Ironman too. I was like, yeah, I have the hotel, whatever. I got it, blah blah blah. And then I was like, telling them I was like, well, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna wake up at like around 3 a.m. so I can start getting ready and all this stuff, and then probably only have like 4 hours of the shittiest sleep I will ever have in my life. And they're like, why? Like,
Yeah.
you because of nervousness or whatever? And I was like, well, you're just not at home, dude. Like, you never
Mm-hmm.
sleep as well as you do in a hotel or even in an Airbnb
Mm-hmm.
as you do in your home, right? And like the nervousness really doesn't play a part into it. The stress of travel does play a part into it as well, but it's more of just like, like I'm like this isn't even my bed. Like what if I oversleep because this isn't my bed, and you're waking
Yeah.
up throughout the night all these times. Yeah, dude. So yeah, you're right about that is the sleep before a major event like that is never the best sleep you're gonna have.
Doo-doo caca sleep. It's terrible. I don't even
Mhm.
like look for it is what it is now. But that's when you're seasoned, like once you start doing these events, you're just like, I know it. I don't you don't freak out. You're just like, I can't sleep,
For
cool,
sure,
whatever.
yeah.
Tomorrow I'm still gonna run my race. You'll be good.
Hmm.
So yeah, man, so I wanna know more about injury. So I don't think I know too much. I want to know more about it and like how it kind of came about and how that kind of led up into the Ironman prep.
Yeah, for sure, man. So, like I said, like yourself, we finished Mexico City, and then literally, I think halfway through September, I registered for Houston Marathon because, like, I guess more than anything, what people don't realize is like how nice it is to have structure from the training
Yeah.
blocks, because like it makes you have to be on point, like knowing that you have. And even through like the initial training block for Mexico City, what I realized, what I told a buddy one time when I met up with him to hang out, was that like I never really truly understood or appreciated how important it is to have goals, because it's a definitive thing that you're working towards, versus like when when people say like, oh, one day I'll do a 5K, one day I'll hit the gym, and one day I'll see about changing the car oil or whatever, like
Yeah.
it's little things like that. Like you don't realize how much having that definitive goal, even if it's just in your head, if you tell it to yourself, like, hey, like for me now, like, hey, on April 24th, 2027, I'm going to be participating in the Ironman Texas again. April 24th, 2027, I'm going to be in Ironman Texas again. Even just saying it to yourself is so crucial, and helping you be more, I guess, more, what's the word, intentional with your decisions throughout the day and throughout the week and throughout the month. So yeah, the training block really will help you become better in other aspects of your life alone. But yeah, like, so I registered for Houston Marathon because I guess I was just like, I don't want to go through nothing. I want to have some type of structure again. So
Yeah.
did it because it was only 2 months away as well. I was like, dude, it's right there. I don't want to wait another year for it. I'm really impatient with things like this. So I was like, hey, it's only 2 months away,
As we
dude.
all
Like,
are. Yeah.
yeah, you're like,
Or
just take
like
the rest of September off.
yeah.
You'll be good, and then pick it back up in October, and then by January you'll be set, dude. Let's see if you can get. Let's see how much time you can knock off. Delusional me was like, yeah, dude, sub 3 is so possible in 3 months. Like, And then got more realistic with it. I was like, okay, well, sub 3 is a lot. Let's see if I could just do 3:30 or sub 4 at least, is what I told myself. Sub 4. Didn't want to tried using Runna again, but what bothered me about it was that I couldn't, and maybe you can now. I just was exhausted with it, but I was like, I couldn't tell it, hey, Runna, I want to run sub 4 for this marathon. It just like, I just picked the marathon, and then it automatically created the plan, and it didn't let me adjust it in the way I wanted to. And I was like, well, I really don't want to do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then I
Runna
remember
is
hearing.
like Runna is like how do you feel about it? Have you, by the way, moved on from Runna? Like, was that where?
Absolutely, yeah, dude.
Yeah,
And it's not because it sucks. Like, it
yeah,
absolutely does not suck. If you're a
mm,
novice, if you don't know anything, if you don't know where to
mm,
start with even like your workouts or anything, I absolutely do recommend it. It is worth the $20 a month, or
mm-hmm,
just shy of, or just over of $100 for the year. Like, it is so worth it,
yeah,
because it's not just running. It's also high rocks. It's also triathlon. Yeah, it throws in strength workouts for you as well. It throws in Pilates for you as well. It throws in whatever. Not sponsored by Runner, by the way, guys. We're
Runna
here
hit us
hyping
up.
it up, but yeah, yeah, it offers a lot for 20 bucks a
Mm-hmm,
month for an AI powered platform that's specifically around health and fitness. That from zero to whatever. If you know nothing absolutely about it, as long as you put in the effort with other research about running form, or swimming form, or triathlon form, whatever, for it to create workouts for you and help you progress, it is absolutely worth it. I do recommend it to other people whenever they're
mm-hmm,
trying to find something to use. But for me, I feel like I got what I got from it, and there's nothing more I can benefit from it. And now that I have a base blueprint of what like a training block should be, now I can just do it on my own, in the sense that now I'm using ChatGPT for most of the workouts, and that's what I did for the Houston Marathon as well. Yeah, I looked into it, and then I was I did some tests, like, you can say, like, hey, can you create a program for me? Here's the race date, here's my prior experience, here's my time, here's what I blah blah, and looked through it, and I was like, okay, I think I can work with this. And then of course, like, the cool thing about it is like, since you're self-coaching essentially, you can adjust it as you need to, as well. But yeah, so, but back to the injury. So the way it came about was I took the rest of September off, or no, I like a week after the marathon, I went out for a run, and some new shoes, Nike Pegasus Premium. So like
Burn
one
them.
of the new models that just came out. Yeah,
Yeah.
not sponsored by Nike, by the way. But I was like, okay, I got these. I got these while I was in Mexico City. I heard great things about them. They
Oh,
look
nice.
dope. Let me go do a run. So I went to go do a run with no real like time or distance goal. I was just like, I'm gonna run until I don't want to run anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I ran. I hit like three miles, and then I started noticing a pain on the outside of, excuse me, on the outside of my right knee. And I was like, oh, that's weird. I was like, but maybe it's because I'm already self-diagnosing as the running's going, right? And I'm like, okay, maybe I stepped wrong. Maybe it's the new shoes and it made me pronate differently.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm still tired. All these other things, right? So I think I finished that run at like 5 miles when I got back home, and then I went to go hang out with a friend later that day, and I noticed whenever I was going down the steps of my porch, there was pain in that right knee again, only going
Uh-oh.
down. But if I did air squats, there was no pain. So I was like, okay, that's weird. Going up the stairs, there was no pain either. It was only going down the stairs. And I was like, that's so weird. So already, in my head, I'm trying to diagnose like what could be it and all this other stuff. And none of my other buddies are into running or triathlon or anything like this. The majority of my
Mm.
buddies are still just straight lifting, which is there's obviously nothing wrong with that. Lifting is so great in its own as
Yeah.
well. But so I have like nobody to be like, hey, like, have you ever had this or whatever? So did my own research. Well, I didn't even do any research. I think I just waited like 3 days, and I was like, okay, well, let me rest. Wait 3 days. Went out and ran again. Same shoes, same route, same time of day, basically. Mile and a half in, pain on the outside of my right knee again. Okay, that's suspicious.
Yeah.
Cut it at 5K. Got back home, same thing, pain going down the stairs, no pain squatting, no pain going up, all this other stuff. Okay. Waited like 6 days this next go around. Tried to bought a different pair of shoes because I was like, maybe it's the shoes.
Yeah.
So I bought a new pair of like max cushion shoes. Went out and did like was trying to do a workout suggested by Garmin,
Mm-hmm.
and same thing, like a mile and a half in, pain on the outside of my knee. Okay, well, it's not the shoes because like
Right.
something would have felt better at this point, right? So I know it's not the shoes. It was never the shoes. It's like, okay, so what else could it be? So then after that, I think I finally like did my research, like pain on the outside of my right knee, YouTube, ChatGPT, Google searches, all this stuff, and narrowed it down to IT band issues.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized I have Blue Cross Blue Shield, which is like one of the top dogs in insurance, right? Thank you to my job. So I was like, okay, I have some of the best insurance in the nation. I live an hour away from the best medical center in the nation. And Houston has 4 or 5 sports teams that all these pro specialists go see all these medical doctors in the area. I was like, what the hell am I doing, dude? So I finally like booked the doctor's appointment, went and go talk to one of the doctors at Houston Methodist over here in Houston, and I told him everything. Like, hey doc, here's what happened, here's what I did, here's what I think it is, and I think it's this because of this or whatever. And then he was like, sounds exactly what it is. And then I realized I just did his entire job for him in the span of 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So same thing like you get with doctors, like, hey, just like oh, and then I had already started rehab exercises prior to even going to the doctors. I was like, okay, well, let me start doing these
Nice.
exercises
Yeah.
because they can't hurt me. They absolutely cannot hurt me. The only thing that can happen is they can benefit me. So started doing those, and that's exactly what I told the doctor, and he was like, you are doing everything right. Like, there's nothing I can recommend to you. I think we did end up taking x-rays, and then he was
No
like,
notes.
there's nothing.
When the doctor
Yeah.
goes no notes, bro, like what are you even doing? Yeah. No notes.
Yeah, I should have been a doctor, right? Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
So yeah, he was like, just keep doing what you're doing. If you want
Yeah.
to come back later for a checkup, come back. But like he was like, you're smart. You're doing everything the right way. You'll be better here soon. So then after that was like at the beginning of October when I finally went to the doctor. Took all of October off. Essentially, yeah, took all of October off. No running whatsoever. Just straight rehab. So it was just simple lifting exercises, banded exercises, stretching, mobility drills, doing research on mobility drills, paying for apps. Like, that's the one thing about me is I will gladly shell out the money for programs. I will
Yeah.
gladly do that because I've already spent so much time researching stuff. And
What did you
I was
get?
just like, as far as for programs,
Yeah, like what did you pay for? An app.
so I did Pi Ability, which is if you've heard of pliability before, they do just like a bunch of static stressing. So it's a mix between what was it, vinyasa yoga, where you do hold positions for like 2 to 3 minutes at a time, and that helps really give you a deeper stretch in your muscles.
Oh,
So
okay.
the way pliability works is not sponsored, by the way. Yeah, I guess that's our running joke for this. Yeah. But the way pliability works is you can actually take like an exam. So like you can set your phone up and it'll take video recordings of you of doing like basic movements, and then it'll give you a mobility score. And then from there you can tell it, hey, these are the types of sports I do. These are the types of areas I want to focus on. And then it'll curate a custom stretching package for you essentially.
That's
And then
pretty
you do
good.
them
I like
daily,
that.
you do them however you can, right? Yeah. It's like 20 something bucks a month, which is like the sweet spot for most of the apps apparently.
Hmm.
So it's like 20 something bucks a month. I think they have a yearly special as well. But yeah, I did that just to stretch everything out, just to focus on everything. It would split it up between body areas throughout the week. And then I also found this other one called the Mobility Platform, I think is what it is, from this
Yeah.
gal that I found on Instagram as well, where she has like all these mobility exercises from stretching for just simple, like to keep your body fluid in movement, and also to help strengthen certain areas, shoulders, knees, ankles, feet, all the good stuff, the important stuff, right? The stuff that we need to work out. And her platform is really nice because she has it like mobility for runners, everyday mobility, mobility for athletes,
Mm,
healthy knees, shoulder rehab, things like she'll break it up like that. And
nice.
then it's about like 25 bucks a month, or you can buy just the healthy knees program for like 50 bucks or something like that. So then I did that to help out with mobility as well. I was actually using that one throughout some of the training block as well for Mexico City, but I stuck with those things, and those really help me out, along with like creating my own rehab protocol workout exercise bundle that I would do to strengthen knees, strengthen hips, and things like that.
Dang.
But yeah, that was all October. Like, did not run once, did not touch a treadmill, did not go outside. That was all
Did
October.
you bike? I feel like you were big time biking at that time.
Yeah, and that's what I
Yeah.
was about to get into, was that. So then, as I was doing research of like, okay, what can I do to keep the cardio up? Because obviously, like, if I just sit here, like, I'm gonna lose, my precious VO2 max, right?
Bro, my glorious 50.
Yeah.
What is your
So
VO2 max for the audience?
Garmin it's been steady at 52 for most of the training blocks, yeah.
That's nice. Mine was at 50 and then it dropped to 49 like
Yeah.
I don't know when. I was like, fuck. What
It's
the
like,
hell?
where did I go wrong, dude?
What did
Yeah.
I do to you, Garmin? It's cuz
You
I
know,
canceled their subscription.
oh, definitely, dude.
Yeah,
That's what it
they were
is. Yeah.
like, oh, yeah.
Dude, funny enough, so you've seen the intake nose strips, right? The
Yeah.
magnetic
I'm actually
nose
curious
thing.
about
So,
those. What do you think?
so I've used them. I had it for Mexico City because my idea was, okay, because I used to, well, I still have them, but I have the altitude training mask. I don't know if you've ever seen those as well. But so my idea was, okay, Mexico City's 7,000 feet above sea level or whatever. The air's thinner. So if I use that altitude training mask, it'll help me prepare for it, right? At least that's what the box and the commercials say, right? So I did more research into it, and it turns out not exactly like that, because the difference between restricting your airflow and from being 7,000 feet above sea level, or here in Colorado where you're X amount of feet above sea level or whatever, a mile above sea level, is the oxygen level.
Mm,
So just because you restrict your airflow where you live, right? Because like what the air feels like over there to you to over here in Texas is completely, are two different things. But what the air feels like to us here at home, just because we restrict airflow, it doesn't necessarily mean we're also changing the amount of oxygen in the air like it's going to be in higher altitude cities.
oh, okay.
So
Cuz
that's why I was like,
I
okay,
had
well,
gotten not the full mask, but I had gotten like
mhm.
a bit. It kind of went in and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I've seen
you
those.
could turn it.
Hmm.
I didn't. I used it like twice, to be honest. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. But
So not that
yeah,
they're
that's what they sell you on. Yeah.
Yeah. So not that those are bad, because the one thing that, because I was using that thing for ages before I got into running like this.
Mm,
And what it definitely did help me out with was it did teach me how to breathe properly, because as you like anybody who gets into running, you'll hear like, hey, you need to breathe properly. You don't breathe with your chest because your lungs aren't in here, right? Your lungs are down here. And then as far as like whenever you look into people who sing, you know, if you talk to anybody who sings, they're always gonna say like, oh, you have to sing from like your diaphragm, right? Your diaphragm is where you get everything.
Yep.
So the mask and that device you got as well, I would say like it can definitely help you teach you to breathe from your diaphragm, which is going to change your cardiovascular fitness completely if you can learn that. But yeah, so I put that to the side. I put the mask to the side because I was like, okay, this isn't going to do what I think it's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, okay, well, if it's all about oxygen levels, if I can breathe in more air per breath, this was my thinking. I have no science to back this up. If I
Works
can
for me.
breathe in more air, yeah, more per breath, then I can still get in more oxygen per breath versus just leaving my nasal airways as they are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I bought it in like a bundle pack, you know, the starter pack or whatever. Tried it out. I was like, okay, it definitely opens up the airways. It was just phenomenal. There's also some other science that I read years ago when I was in high school because I would see the NFL players wear nose strips as well, and I was like,
Yeah.
well, why are they wearing nose strips? Because I know nose strips are good for sleeping because they help you sleep, reduce snoring and all that other stuff. But I was like, well, why are they doing it? And then I did some research or some material came before me, and it was basically saying that like, well, again, I have not looked into this since I read it, so
Yeah.
nobody say that this is true, but from what I remember reading was that each side is connected to that side of your brain, and then each side of your brain is responsible for certain things, right? Like your left side is what more creative or something like that, and your right side
Yeah.
is
Right
more for
brain, left brain.
decision
Yeah.
making. Yeah. So whenever normally for most people, like one will generally be clogged or not open all the way. So then at any given time, one side of your brain is more dominant than the other at any given time, right? So
Huh.
the reason why the athletes wore that is because one, they got better breathing into it, but also it helped keep both sides of the brain active equally, so it helped them perform better. Because like
They're like
now,
cognitive. That's interesting. Yeah.
yeah, cognitive things. So like
Wow.
now,
That's
like they're
cool.
not worried about like pain. You know, their left side isn't like, oh, you know, I love the color of
Yeah.
this grass right now because you know
Yeah.
the maintenance team has been doing real great with the turf. You know,
Yeah. While they're getting
now they're
concussions, they're able to feel the
yeah.
blows to their head much better because of those nasal
Yeah, yeah.
strips.
You know, the other thing, and this is sidetracking a lot, dude, but the other thing I saw
You're good.
recently was that a lot more pros are using wired headphones again. And people are like, well, why are they doing that? And it was like, because now there's science that the frequencies that are being produced by the Bluetooth earbuds are actually affecting your brain. Yeah, so they're
Here we
affecting
go.
the frequencies in your head. So quite literally, what they're saying but not saying is it's the Bluetooth devices are making you dumber. And so like they're using all these NFL players as like
Yeah.
evidence of this, right? Like, yeah, you notice all these pros are using wired headphones again and all this shit, dude. Blah blah blah. And like I told another buddy about that, and he was like, that is like as a football player, dude, the last thing you're worrying about is if your your earbuds are making you stupid when you got the guy across from you who's literally ramming his head into you,
Fruit.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so but yeah, that's something funny that brought it up. But yeah, so the intake, I feel like it did help me out sufficiently enough. Not necessarily that it boosted performance, but if
Mm.
anything, like just being able to breathe better through both nostrils, through both passages. Not that I have like any issues to begin with, but just having that extra air coming through definitely like at least like placeboed me to being like, hey, this is like so much better for you right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
definitely recommend them.
I'm
Give
gonna
them a
have to
shot.
try
I
them
think it's
out.
like
Yeah.
$15, I think, you know.
Yeah. And did you
So
are they is it because I've seen a couple, there's magnet ones and
it's
then there's like sticky ones. Which ones
so the
did you
intake
use?
is magnetic. It has magnetic adhesives that you put on your nostrils, that you put on
Yeah.
the outside, and then it pulls everything open. The one I've been seeing now, I think it's called Second Breath, where those are just straight adhesives to the thing. Apparently they're phenomenal as far as like how sticky they are and like how well they stick to your nose. I
Yeah.
haven't tried them out yet. I'm not really going like really too concerned about it anymore. The reason for that was because I noticed whenever I was using the intake one, my
Yeah.
VO2 went down a little bit for whatever reason. And again,
Hmm.
we always have to take whatever this is telling us with a grain of salt because
Yeah.
like this is just all like guess. This is all just like, hey, based on whatever, it's
Yeah.
guessing, right? So the seeing that was like that's kind of weird. And then you know when I don't use it, my VO2 goes back up to 52. So I was like, okay, well, whatever.
How
But
interesting.
anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I said, all of October it was off. I then started researching and then I found out, hey, biking is a good way to keep your cardio up and a good way for runners to rehabilitate any kind of knee injuries. So then one of my good buddies, he's been cycling for X amount of years, for like over 20, 30 years, and I asked him about it, like if knee issues or anything like that, and he never had like really any knee issues, but obviously he's been biking, so he's
Yeah.
like loves it. It's great fitness or whatever. So then I tried it out at the stationary bike one day, knowing nothing about it, because like, so this is a new field for me. Like, I don't know how fast you're supposed to go. I don't know the resistance you're supposed to have. I don't
Yeah.
know how the seat's supposed to be. I don't know cadence. I don't know distance. What's far, what's short, all this other stuff. So
When
I
was the
remember,
last time you had ridden a bike before this? Like even recreationally or like anything really?
oh, dude, man, quite literally when I was probably like less than 10 years old,
Yeah.
maybe,
I feel like
dude.
that's the
It
case a
it.
lot of times. Yeah. It's like yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. We pick it up later in our lives, like kind of thing. But so this was
Yeah. So.
October then you were like, let's bike.
Yeah, so like I did it on the stationary bike at first. I did like 6 miles and I sent the stats to my buddy and then I was like, I don't know what this means. Like is this good? Is this bad? Should I
Yeah.
you know, whatever? And he was like, it's not bad, you know.
Yeah.
And then I did more research into it and then I was like, okay, well I think I want to buy a bike because I don't want to have to go to the gym every time to bike. I think I can bike around my neighborhood.
Yeah.
And this is where the slippery slope all started. So
Oh, so this is where it started with the with like
with the cycling,
my
yeah.
goodness.
So I asked him like, hey, well, where can I go buy a bike from? And he was like, oh, this is the bike shop I go to. So then I did more research on my own of like sizing and pricing, and then this is when I found out like, how the fuck do bicycles cost $1,000, dude? And that's entry level. That's
Just
entry.
the
That's not even the
frame.
most expensive. That's just
Yeah.
entry. Yeah, I was like, what the
That's just
heck?
one wheel.
Yeah, dude.
Bro.
So yeah, like I did my own research, and then I kind of got an idea of like what kind of budget I wanted for it. And
Yeah.
then I found out that when you buy a bike, they don't come with pedals. And then I was like, what in the who decided?
Yeah, what's up with that? Can I, what's up with that? Did you figure out why that's the case?
So I never like asked why, but here's what I
Yeah.
think why. So not everybody cycles the same. Surprise,
Mm.
surprise.
Yeah.
So because you have your clip-in shoes, obviously, the shoes that, if you ever see cyclists, you'll notice that they have to like twist their foot to be able to take it off the pedal and be able to stand. And then you have your flat pedals, which is what we all know and love from the bikes we got from our sporting goods store or Walmart or whatever, just plain old flat pedals. You don't need any kind of special shoes. You just put your foot on and then you go. So the thing is that there's different types of clips, pedals, and clips that can go in there as well. And of course, there's different kinds of materials as well. You have just plain old plastic, you have carbon
Mm.
with steel plates, you have whatever, you have pedals
Yeah.
that have power meters in them, you have pedals that don't, all this other stuff. So it essentially, like, in my eyes, they don't put them on there because you're going to end up taking them off because you're going to have your own that you want on there anyway.
Yeah.
So
It's the
they're
customizability of it all.
exactly, yeah. So, that's why I think they don't come with them because eventually you're just going to be putting whatever you want on there from the get-go.
Right.
So it just saves some time from having to fight the torque spec of whatever they would torque it down to in the factory or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I went to a bike shop. I talked to the guys there, and then they showed me everything. Like, hey, these are the sizes work. These are the different types of bikes. They showed me shoes. They showed me all this other stuff. And then they were like, printed me like an estimate of like, hey, here's what it would cost if you bought everything, blah blah blah. And then I was like, okay, cool. So now I have an idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then my buddy told me, it's like, hey, dude, if you can, like, find a bike on Marketplace. Like, dude, like
Mm-hmm.
people buy them and then they stop all the time and they just want like half of the money back or whatever. So you might get lucky and find something for super cheap. Because yeah, like I think the bike I was looking at that day in the store was like 1,500, and again, that's just 1,500. And then you still need to buy the bibs, the shorts with the padding in it, because
Yeah.
the saddle, that's what they call the seat, in the cycling world, the saddle. But
Yeah.
the seat is super thin and uncomfortable, so you need the padding. Why not just make the seat comfortable? Well, that's because if you make a comfortable seat, it's heavier, and when you're cycling, you want to save as much weight as possible. It's a whole fucking thing, dude.
Yeah. You want
So
to be as aerodynamic and slippery as possible for the
yeah,
wind.
so and then the helmet, and then the shoes, and then the jerseys,
Mm.
and then all this other stuff. So then,
Okay, so 1,500 from store,
mhm,
everything but pedals, correct? Is that what we're
Pretty
saying?
much, yeah. No, no,
Okay.
that was just the bike. So then like the bib and everything else, I think I was gonna spend around like maybe like like a little over 2,300, I think, when I
Right.
would
How
have
much is
everything.
the bib, which is the running, swimming outfit?
Not any cheaper, buddy. Let me tell you.
Really? Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought they were around maybe 500 or so. Is it
Yeah,
more?
yeah, and it's because like it's no, that's like top quality. So
That's top
like
quality.
yeah, the differences that go into them is like I guess it's like material because like if you look at the websites from what I saw, it's aerodynamics as far as like resistance in the water as well,
Yeah.
storage pockets you have in there, the what's it called,
The padding?
the cushion, yeah, the padding
Yeah.
in there, like how dense it is to how slim it is and everything like that. So those are the things that can affect the pricing on it. Of course, the brand as well. Like if you just buy from a higher quality brand, you can find them for like $80, $60 on Amazon, which I recommend for training. Like
Yeah.
if you're gonna just
Your
train,
everyday. Yeah, your trainer. Yeah.
buy one of those, dude. Yeah, absolutely. Don't train in your $300 one every day or every training session,
Yeah.
right? Save that for your simulation days and for race day, okay?
Yeah.
But yeah, so fast forward, got lucky. I found a bike that was my size for like 250 from somebody who was selling it, an entry level bike. Went and picked it up. Thank God he left the pedals on there because I did not want to go through
Let's
that.
go.
Buying pedals,
We
yeah.
got some paddles. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then I, just messed around with it as far as like looking into like how to adjust it as far as like a fitting, because like you can't just buy it and then start riding. Like it's recommended to do a fitting on there because your geometry is different than the next person's geometry, right?
Hmm.
Even though it's the same bike, your legs might be longer than my legs and my arms are going to be shorter than your arms. So we're going to need to position the seat and the seat differently and the handlebars differently. So looking up things like that, messing around with it, and then going and riding with my buddies and getting into it and then, building up that base. So it was really funny because when I first went riding with one of my buddies, my heart rate was like through the roof because it's also kind of scary. I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. Like you have to, so like I think according to laws, most laws, you have to bike with the flow of traffic. So uh, you don't know what's coming up behind you. You don't know how fast they're going. You don't know if they see you. All this other stuff. So like my
Yeah,
heart
and you
rate was
hear
already
horror
elevated from
stories
the get
too.
go.
You hear
Yeah,
horror
yeah.
stories of like
Dogs.
just getting
I don't know what it
slammed.
is.
Yeah.
And yeah, like dogs. Like I don't know what it is with dogs and like seeing people on bikes and wanting to chase them.
Yeah, yeah.
But that too, and like for me, since obviously like we're dog lovers, like the last thing I want is a dog to get run over because it ran out on the road and chased me, right? Because then now I'm the bad guy because why am I biking, near dogs, right? But
What an inconsiderate person you are riding your
yeah,
bike on public
trying to
streets.
be
Yeah,
healthy. Yeah.
for real. Okay. How is the biking
So
out where you are though? Is it flat, hilly? What are we talking here
no,
for
yeah.
training?
So thankfully, like it's mostly flat. The thing that sucks is that since it's infrastructure is based on counties over here, like most other places. So like the county that I live in, it's a very country-esque way of living. So the roads just have to be roads. It doesn't matter if they're smooth or rough. Like we're gonna drive on them regardless, right?
Yeah.
But that makes it really difficult on a bike because then a rough road is a bumpy road, and a bumpy road can easily cause a lot of pain and issues to yourself. You can't go as fast. You
Yeah.
can't go as straight. You're looking for all kinds of debris because now this is the country, so there's carcasses from deer and raccoons and all this
Yeah.
stuff, and country people let their dogs loose, so and then you hear dogs barking. Can they clear that fence? Are they leashed? Are they not leashed? Little things like that. And then literally like to the next county, it's about 6 miles. So once I hit that 6 mile mark, I'm on that county, smooth, super smooth roads, no
Really?
no issues and things like that. Yeah, it's a crazy
Wow.
difference, dude. But yeah, so once I get past those first 6 miles, it's like smooth sailing from there essentially.
That's sweet. What is
But
it about
yeah,
the counties? It's just different, handled differently, but different budget, just different
yeah,
budgets.
it's all
Yeah.
politics,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So, but yeah, man, it was crazy when I first started cycling. My heart rate would be through the roof, and my buddy would be like, "Why is your heart rate so high?" And like this, and that. And do you have a cadence sensor and all this other stuff? And I was like, "No, I don't, dude, because I'm just starting up. Like, I'm the type of person to go all in from the get go. So like me, I would have bought everything from the get go and then just sold it like anybody else if I didn't
Right.
like it. Okay, whatever. I can sell this stuff. I won't make my money back, but I'll get some change back, and then somebody else can start their journey or whatever. So I was
Yeah.
like, no, because you told me not to buy everything from the rip, dude. So like,
That's funny.
So then, I picked up the speed sensor, cadence sensor, and all that stuff, and then like I started learning about, like where your cadence should be, your rotation per minute, and all this other stuff. And then slowly but surely on the bike, my heart rate has been coming down with which every riding, with every training session. Whereas on the flip side, like his would be super, super low, and he would think like I'm going into like essentially he thought I was going into cardiac arrest because my heart rate was at like 180 at one point when his was
Yeah.
at like 120 or 130. And it's like,
Yeah,
no, dude,
that's a
I'm
big
fine.
difference.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, but to me, like that's normal. When I look at that, like that's essentially normal for the effort that I'm putting in. Like in my head, that makes sense because of what I'm putting in, the time of day, the new environment, and things like that made sense. So I wasn't worried about it. But he was like, "Oh no, dude, we gotta slow down and this other stuff."
Yeah.
So obviously looking out
How's
for
he
me.
gonna say your heart rate's too high when you just started biking? Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's like
So
us
then,
being
but
like,
on
"Oh,
the
you
flip
can't run a
side,
marathon?" Like
uh-huh. Yeah, but on the flip side, like he doesn't run. So one day we did. I remember vividly. I think was it during it was during Houston or was it for Ironman prep? It had
too
to be
invited
during
to
Houston.
run.
But anyway, we did a 20-mile ride, and
Yeah.
then I was gonna run right after that, regardless. Not right after it, but I was gonna run later in the day, regardless. Because
Yeah.
usually what we would do is we would ride, we would get back to his house. I had already picked up donuts, so that was my post-ride meal was
Hell yeah.
some donuts. And then when we did a 20-mile ride, we got back, and I'm already like a donut and a half in, and he's like, "Okay, dude, let's go for a run." So like he got his wife and kids, and they went to this park, and then I was like, "Dude, I'm almost two donuts in right now, dude. No." So, but anyway, we went, and then he was like, "Okay, well, let's go running." So I was like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna do like I have to do 7 miles today. You obviously stop when you want to." And so we started off, and then like he does not run at all, like I said. So his form was off, his breathing was heavy, his like he looked tight and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking at him like, "Dude, what's wrong with you?"
Yeah, yo,
But
get
I
him
get
back.
it.
Get him
Yeah,
back.
but I
Yeah.
get it because he doesn't do it, right? So then
Yeah.
eventually, like, it got to the point where he was like, "Okay, you can take off, dude." So obviously, I took off and I
Yeah.
finished my workout and all this other stuff.
That's
But
cool.
yeah,
That's cool
like,
that you can share
it's
that with him.
crazy how like, yeah, it's cool how like your different sports are gonna give you different types of resistance to your body. So, but yeah, started biking, stuck with it, kept going with it, and then eventually I realized, okay, if I do want to get faster on the bike, a better bike is necessary in some
Yeah.
way. So started researching, found out we can use our FSA funds to buy bikes from certain companies. So I was going to do that to buy a Canyon, and then I saw that Trek had a pre-owned department where literally people just buy bikes and then don't like them, so they send them back, and there's nothing wrong with them. Maybe
Oh,
you
no
have like
way.
a paint chip here or there or something, but the bike is fine because it goes through 100. They say 151 point inspection rate, so they resell these bikes at a crazy discount. So then I found a bike that normally was like $2,700 brand new, and I got it
Yeah.
for 1,800, and I was
Okay.
like, oh, this is better geometry, better design. Like it was a a racing design bike in mind. So
Yeah.
scooped that up and then
And wait,
paid
you
for
got this,
it.
sorry, and you got this because you signed up for the Ironman?
Did I already sign up for it?
Or were you just like, you know what, I'm gonna get into this, I'm gonna go full on
I, I
and get a
did.
good
I did
bike?
already sign up for it. Yeah, I'd already
You did.
signed up for it.
So when did
Um,
you decide to actually sign up for the Ironman? So it was October, you were like, let me rehabilitate, let me get a bike, and then like when did the Ironman thing come in?
so like around November when I finally started running again for the Houston Marathon for the actual
Yeah.
training block. So yeah, I keep sidetracking. But anyway, so
No,
all
you're good, you're good.
October rehab, cycling, all that good stuff. November comes around. I still don't run for like the first week or two of it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a company 5K that our company participates in.
Mm.
So one of my buddies was chatting with his boss of his area, and he was like, "Well, I feel like I can run a 5K faster than you." And then the boss was like, "You absolutely cannot run a 5K faster than me." And then another guy in the area was like, "No, I think I can beat the both of y'all." And then of
Yeah.
course, a challenge came up between them, and then my
Yeah.
name got left out because at this point I'm already known as the guy who runs. I got Mexico City under my belt and all this
Yeah.
stuff. Nobody knows that I haven't been running though.
Yeah.
So my buddy was like, "Dude, you gotta pace me. You gotta pace me for this. I have to beat him. I have to beat him. I have to
Yeah. For a
win this challenge and
5K.
all this stuff for a 5K." Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, "Okay, dude, yeah. I mean, I'll pace you as best as can be, but like just like keep in mind, like you're the only one that knows I haven't ran in over a month. So
Right.
like we're we're pretty slim on predictions
Yeah.
here, dude."
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, we do it. So that 5K was my first run since the beginning of October. So let's say it was like in the middle of November or whatever.
Yeah.
And that was like my checkpoint. That was to see if everything I had been rehabbing, everything that I've been doing was actually working. Like if something actually did, if
All that
it
money on
actually was
bikes
working.
was actually giving you a
Yeah,
better knee. Yeah.
yeah. So then, dude, we ran it, we booked it. Thank God it was on gravel, because that, running on gravel is so much better than running on just straight concrete or road.
Yeah. Okay.
So majority of the route was on gravel. We took off, and once I hit the 1.5 mile point, no pain in my right knee. So I was like, okay, this is a good sign. I'm doing
Nice.
well. Finished it, no pain in either of my knees, no nothing. And then I think I was just shy of what I gotten on that route like the year before.
Nice. Yeah.
But I was like, okay, like everything worked. Like as far as I'm concerned, I'm clear to start,
Yeah.
marathon training
You
again.
are your own doctor, and you gave yourself
I gave
the
myself the
clear.
clearance, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man,
Did your buddy win?
it worked out. No, absolutely not.
He got
We,
cooked.
yeah, he got cooked, dude. We took off, and I took off way too fast, to be fair.
Yeah.
Again, like I hadn't ran in so long, so like my pacing
Yeah.
feeling is off and all this shit. So we take off, dude, and like we're probably like we're not even 100 yards in, dude. And I glance down, I'm at like a 650 pace. I'm like, oh my God, dude, what am I doing?
You just PR'd your mile. It's like in the marathon when you
Yeah,
PR your 5K or your half, you're like,
5K, yeah.
fuck, no.
Oh, nah, yeah. So yeah, I was like, dude, we gotta slow down. So then we slow down, and then him, like, he didn't have like a structured training block. He's very novice about it. So like his idea was, if I just run like a 3K or a 5K every other day, I will get faster at it, right? Which isn't wrong, but it's not
Yeah.
necessarily the right
You
way,
get the
right? As we
volume, but
know.
you don't get the speed work or anything. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, but anyway, I wasn't gonna like coach him through anything. Not that I didn't
Yeah.
want to,
Yeah.
but I was like, hey, you gotta learn. Like this is your
Yeah.
own thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, we were going, and I tell him, like, okay, dude, we're going way too fast. We got to slow down. And then like a little bit after that, I just hear, keep going, like fading away. I just hear, keep going. What the fuck? And then I realized like, oh, that was him. Oh, he
Yeah.
stopped, because I didn't look back, because I was like, oh, he just stopped. Like, okay, well, he told me to keep going, keep going.
Uh-huh.
And then eventually, once he came back around, once we saw each other at the tent for the back at the base, he was like, yeah, dude, I just like my shin started hurting so bad during that.
Tough. Tough.
So like, yeah, that's what cost him. So funny enough, the boss, which like, technically he's all of our bosses, but he communicates with that guy more than I do, as
Yeah.
far as like the production in the facility and all that stuff. But anyway, dude, I think he was just shy of like, cause I beat all of them, right?
Yeah.
On chip time, I beat all of them. I think my time was like 24 something or
Yeah.
22 something. I can't remember. It wasn't a PR, but it was close enough to what my PR was, to where I was like, okay, I'm happy with that
Yeah. Yeah.
for
Yeah.
being a
Especially
month and a
after
half
coming
off.
off injury. Yeah.
Yeah, so then, but the boss was on like 20 seconds behind me or whatever. But again, I was off a month and a half, and he consistently does like CrossFit and like other general running and stuff like
Hmm.
that, you know. Yeah, but yeah, like the boss won between the three of them. So I was like,
That's funny.
but I vividly I remember this though, because the way that company 5K works is, it's like companies from all over Houston. They just buy tents and all this other stuff, and then it's like fundraising or whatever, all
Oh,
this other
snap.
stuff, and they
Yeah.
split it
That's cool.
between like 3 days actually. Yeah, so like over 500 companies will register for this 5K, so they have to split it up between like 3 days. Yeah.
Jeez. Uh-huh.
But like you can see your chip times and everything, so then you can
Yeah.
split it up between like companies as well. And like for our company, I got like 11th. I was the 11th fastest of everybody who signed up from
Yeah.
our company. So I literally by like 10 seconds or something, like 10 more seconds, and I would have been in the top 10.
Top 10. That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's funny. That's
But
cool that they do
anyway,
that. Yeah. I'm glad also a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
people like are into that, you know? That's cool that they do that.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah, it's
Texas
really nice.
running, y'all are in the heat all the time. So big props to you guys for just like running in the heat like every day of
Did
the
you
year basically.
wake up at 4 a.m.? Like I leave my house like around like 5 a.m. to get to work, to
Yeah.
start heading to work or whatever, dude. And like the humidity at 5 a.m. is just like,
Yeah.
what the hell? You
Yeah.
know?
It's starting to
And
get
it
that here,
doesn't.
but this is like, in Charlotte it's like seasonal. But to have that
Yeah.
every day, y'all are really on the grind. That's big ups, big
Oh yeah,
respect
I
for
love it.
y'all running in that.
It definitely like helps elevate the fitness for sure. But yeah, so yeah, like I said, in November after that 5K, I started the training block again. This time from Houston, and then of course, just throughout as time goes by, like you get all this content from all these other sports, from cycling. I started cycling, so all of a sudden now I'm getting cycling content, right? And then if you cycle and bike, well, then the only thing that's 2/3 of a triathlon. The only other thing you need is swimming. So then you start getting all this. I started getting all this triathlon content, and like the buddy who cycles had already told me that he had been wanting to do one for a long time, but it was just one, finding the right one, and then two, he had just had like his first kid as well. So then like now his schedule's all out of whack because like now he's got
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah.
so, it was really hard for him. And then I just kept getting more content and I kept looking more into it. And then I saw that we host one right up the road, about like close to an hour, 45 minutes away from where I live, and about maybe
Okay.
like 45 minutes, 50 minutes from where Houston is.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was
What was it
like,
called again? What's the exact name of it?
the Woodlands. The Woodlands
Woodlands,
is the
that's
name of
right.
the city. Yeah.
Yep, yep.
So I'm like, okay, that's right there.
You got to do it. Yeah.
And then I was like, well, when is it? When is it? Because in
Yeah.
between this, so like small, in between me deciding the Ironman and not, my other buddies kept getting ultra marathon content, and they were
Mhm.
like, oh, we should do an ultra marathon. We should do one. And I was like, okay, cool, yeah. The 100-mile race is happening in Needville, which is like 20 minutes from us, from where most of us live. And I was like, the 100
That's
mile ultra
convenient.
marathon's going on. We can do that. And they were
Mhm.
like, whoa, 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 whoa. It was like 3 months from this point, like, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's way, I don't have enough time to train for that, this, and that, whatever. No, 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 no. And then I was like, okay. And then one of them was like, well, there's a 50-miler happening in April next year, right before the Ironman. Because I was already looking into the Ironman, and I was like, oh, that's the weekend before the Ironman.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'll do the 50. I can train for the 50. There's more time for the 50-miler. And I was like, well, if you guys really want to play it, safer, a 50K is only like 6 more miles than a marathon.
Mhm.
So, we can do that. And then, that's not as much stress on your body, and like that's way easier to train for as well, right? Or,
Yep.
the distance is more attainable
Yep.
and a training block for y'all. No, 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 let's do the 50, because my other buddies are brothers, so it's 3 of them, and the older brother was like, no, no, let's do the 50. Let's do the 50. And I was like, okay, well,
He
we'll
wanted to do the
50.
50 miler.
He wanted to do the 50-miler, and I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
cool, we'll do the 50. I guess I won't do the Ironman, jokingly, right? Because I was like, man, I want to do it. I was like, I kind of want to do it, but it's $1,000 entry registration fee, and
Yeah.
then I need not a better bike, but the bike, and then the swimming, and then,
Yeah.
just let it float around in my head. So then I was like, okay, we'll do it. And then I was like, well, these guys aren't going to do it unless somebody sets the tone, right? Which was one of my mantras through the first marathon, was set the tone. And I said, like, okay, well, I got to register for it. Like, I got to register for it to let them know I'm fucking serious about it, and they need to be serious about it too. So I registered for it. It was like a little over $100. Register for it, sent them the screenshot, said, all right, last one to register for it is Gay. And then they were like,
This
okay,
is
yeah,
for
dude.
the Houston or
No,
the
no, no.
50K.
This is for the 50-miler. This is for the
50
50-miler.
miler.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay.
So then they were like, okay, dude, yeah, next month I'll register for it. I just got to clear some things out of the way, and then next month I'll register for it. Okay. So this was like in the middle of September. So then October comes around. Yeah, man, next month I'll register for it. Cool, whatever.
No.
And to make it clear, like, there, 2 of them are married.
Yeah.
One of them has had a kid. He just had his second kid a while ago. 2 of them are homeowners, and then one of them is well, he's in a relationship now, but he was single at the time, but he had just like moved out as well, and he was doing his own thing in one of the cities over here. So to be fair, like, they all had like other responsibilities that, like $150
Yeah.
seems like cheap to somebody, but when you have a home and you have your car, and then you have your wife, and then you have your kids and all that stuff, like $150 can go elsewhere easily.
And it's
for
like,
more,
what is it for? It's like this race that I'm training for, and it's not just 150. You got to buy the fuel, the gels,
hydration
the
packs,
plan,
the shoes.
everything. So,
And then
I
the
get
time
it,
to
for
train.
sure. Yeah,
For sure. And that's what I said to you. I was like, okay, I get it, dude. Like, they have other responsibilities for it as well. But I would always
Fair
say it's not official until you sign up for it.
Yep.
Until you're registered for it, nothing is official.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's going on. November came around, and then same thing. Nobody had registered for it, and I had already
Yeah.
been talking to my other buddies, and I was like, dude, I kind of want to do the Ironman. Like, the more I think about it, the more I want to do it. It's like, the only thing is like, I don't want to register for it, and then these guys wanted to do and then these guys register for the 50-miler, and then now I'm
Right.
stuck. Like, well, what am I gonna do? I said I would do it with them, but I can't. Doing a 50-miler the week before doing 140 miles total is completely especially for someone as a novice, right? Like that's where I had to
Your
check
body's just
myself.
not
Is
gonna be
like,
able to like handle that. Yeah.
you're gonna DF one of them, right? And then that's gonna
Yep.
affect the psyche, that's gonna affect your ego, all this other stuff. So then,
Yeah. And you spent $1,000 on that Ironman, so it's like
yeah,
you prioritize that coming fresh.
for
Yeah.
sure. So I was like, and that's what I told one of my other buddies. And then I was like, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give him like a silent ultimatum. This is what I was thinking. Is like, I'll give him a silent ultimatum. If I don't hear shit from them by the beginning of December, then I'm registering for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then one of my buddies was like, "We'll just register for it. Like you want to do it. Like they haven't done it.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
haven't registered. You want to like give them the ultimatum. Like just do it. And then if they do sign up for them, just hey dude, you guys didn't sign up for it. I wanted to do this instead. This is where my heart's leaning to. This is where my where my calling is right now. So
Yep.
so yeah, at the beginning of December, I went to the website, filled out the questionnaire, filled out the whole form and everything, and got to the page where it says like, okay, complete your payment,
Yeah.
and clicked on the Apple Pay logo, and then
Yeah. Scan your
we all know
face.
that. Yeah, we all know that thing. You just need to scan your face, and you need to click the lock button twice,
Yeah,
and then I'm
man. You
sitting
put your
there
down
like I
payment
did
on
it.
your you put your down
I
payment
did it
on
while
your
I was at
book
work.
bag.
Yeah,
Really? You were
pretty
at
much.
work? Oh
I
my
was at
God.
work, dude. So luckily it was an easy day at work. Funny enough, I think it was an easy day because the type of pipe. So I work at I think I've told you before, but I work at a steel pipe manufacturing plant. So we make
Yeah.
steel pipes for the oil and gas industry. And so there's a certain style of pipe called plain end, where there's no threading on the pipe. It's just the pipe cut, and then it gets heat treated, and then it gets
Mm.
coated, and then it gets marked with all these data info about the pipe and everything like that, and then we ship
Yeah.
it off. So that where I work in the process of all of that is the threading area. So that's whenever pipes come through my area, I actually do the threading on, not me, but machines and robots and stuff. But I make sure that the threading on the pipe is within standards for the
Mm.
industry.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever we run plane in, we don't have it doesn't come anywhere near me. So basically, it's essentially like a free day for me. Like I just have to look busy the entire day at work. Well, funny enough, that day we have a common thing where it's like if it's holiday, it must have been around Thanksgiving or something. Maybe it was before December or something. But
Okay.
anyway,
Yeah.
and I remember because we all did potluck for Thanksgiving because we were grilling outside, and then I had brought peach cobbler for dessert, and then everybody brought everything else. So like it was an easy day. People who in our area were just hanging out,
Oh, that's cool.
having a
At
good
work.
time and stuff.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah.
at work.
Cool,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah. So anyway, yeah. So it was a little bit before December then. It was like the week of Thanksgiving then. Let's put it that way.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And but yeah, dude, I'm sitting there and like in my area in my booth, and I'm like looking at my phone, and I'm like, am I really like? Because once you say yes, once it scans your face, yeah, that's it,
Yeah,
donezo,
bro.
done deal,
It's
no refund,
locked.
no nothing, no
Yeah.
transfers. So I'm like looking at it, and then I'm like, okay, 1, 2, 3, double click, scan my face, the loading wheel and everything, and then the notifications,
You're in.
thousand something to Ironman, email, welcome to Ironman, the screen changes, thank you for your registration, your date is coming up, whatever, all this other stuff. And then like it's just like it's a weird thing where you're like, holy, I just did this, and it's like, okay, I just did that. It's like for me it was a
Yeah.
mix of like, okay, cool, check that, registered for it, and now I just have to eat the food that we make, and I'm done for the day or whatever.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
after it was like, oh my God, dude, I really just registered to run out, to
There's
participate in a 140-mile
there's like
race.
something to be said about like the instant you make the decision official to like do something new, something hard and something different that you're like gonna be uncomfortable for, you're gonna be like super like you're just nervous, you're just scared. Like
Hmm.
that moment is like insane. And I just like people should be doing that all the time, even if it's like a like their next level is 5K. Like that is crazy. So like
Absolutely.
especially not far out like this when so the marathon the Ironman was going to be this is end of October or sorry end of November early December and the
Hmm.
Ironman is when
It was in April.
April, so you had like what is that,
So let's say
January, February,
December, let's
March,
say
April,
December, January, February. About 4 months, right?
4 months. Yeah.
If I didn't have the Houston Marathon in January. So
Yeah.
I was already a month into the training block, and I was like, there's no way. Well, there is a way I can introduce swimming and biking into this, right? But what is it going to benefit me? Like, how is it going to how much will it throw me off of the running already from the training block for the marathon specifically? And
Yep.
what kind of stress is that going to add to me? Because what the other thing people don't realize is the stress that gets thrown onto you from these training blocks as well. Because now you're not you're not planning your training around your life, you're planning your life around your training is what
Yep.
people that a lot of people don't realize is it's not when can I squeeze in this workout, is this workout has to happen this day, this hour. What can I do before then, or what am I going to be able to do after then that I need to get done in order for me to accomplish this workout, right? So I was already like, I can't, like I can, but I won't because it's gonna add too much to me.
Okay.
I've done it before. I've done it before where for the first training block, before I even registered for a marathon, I just selected the marathon training plan on Runna. But I selected 4 days to run a week, right? And I remember there were days where I was like stressed out about missing a run. And I'm not even registered
Yeah.
for anything at this point. But I'm stressing like, how can I do this run? So can I do it after work? Should I just do it tomorrow morning and then do
Yeah.
another one later in the day and all this stuff? Dude, there were days where I did 2 runs within like let's say I would do like a 2 hour interval, not a 2 hour interval session, but let's say I did like a 2 mile interval session, so like 1K repeats or whatever after work, and then I would wait like 30 minutes and then I would do like a 3 mile easy run right after that, dude, just so I could complete the runs that were programmed for me in there, right?
Yeah.
And it got to the
Yeah.
point where I was getting stress migraines, and I was like, okay, I can't, like, this is too much. And I had to
Training
talk with
anxiety.
myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had to talk with myself. I was like, dude, you're not even registered for a race. Why the fuck are you stressing about all this? Like, just knock it back a day. Come on, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Or
knocked it
if you
back a
miss,
day,
it's
and then
fine.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I knocked it back a day, and everything was perfect. Because then I'm lucky the way my schedule is for work is any given week, I'll get anywhere between like 3 to 4 days off between any work schedule. So any given week, I'll only work like 4 to 3 days. So I have a lot of time off in between the week, which benefits me a lot for the training,
Yeah.
obviously, versus other people who do like 9 to 5, so they have to wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning just to train. So then they can train again after work. So then they can get their 5 hours of sleep to go
Yeah.
back to work or back to the next train or whatever. So yeah, I had to talk with myself. Just knock it back, dude. You'll be fine, right? Like you're not even registered for anything. Just this is just to see if you can accomplish the training block itself, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I thought about. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna add that stress to myself, right? All this other stuff. So I'll finish Houston and then I'll take the rest of January off, which is 2 weeks. We'll go on a vacation, relax, and then come February, like you gotta lock it down, dude. And like this is where we're gonna start, because come February you only have 2 months to do
That's
the thing.
crazy that you went on vacation for 2 weeks post marathon. Because I would have been like, I got to get right into this training, man. I don't got a lot of time. Like
Yeah.
that's
Hmm.
another anxiety there. It's like I already don't have a lot of time. So that's I'm glad you gave yourself time though. That I'm sure that was well
Yeah.
deserved and nice,
And
anyways.
because like obviously like now I listen to a whole lot of like running and triathlon podcasts and things, and like, you hear the stories of people, they finish a marathon. I mean, we did it. We fucking finished Mexico City, and then we were at the next one in 2 months or whatever, right? But they finish one, and then in 3 months they're back at another one, dude. It's like, okay, where was the rest? Where was the recuperation within a week's time? Which is obviously when you get to that level where you're an elite or where you're competing professionally, like your body's well adapted to recover that quickly, right? But for
Yeah.
us, the people who are working normal jobs and living normal lives and dealing with normal stresses, obviously like we need a little bit more time. And it sucks because like you want to be doing something, but like you have to keep reminding yourself like this is what my body, like nothing is going to benefit me more than just sitting here and eating all these calories and eating all these sweets or
Oh,
whatever, and
baby.
just watching whatever content I can on YouTube and all this other stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, like I knew I needed it. Like obviously I would have loved to hop straight into it, but I knew like if I would have done that, same thing, like another injury is gonna come up, more stress is gonna come up, like, the health
Yeah.
declines and all this other stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I knew I needed it. Yeah, dude, it was like come February, dude. And before that, I'd already been talking to ChatGPT, like, hey, what's the training block gonna look like? All this other stuff. Like, what do I need to do? February 4th is gonna be the first day. All this other stuff.
Yeah.
And then, dude, I didn't start swimming until like the second week of February because I was just like, I do not want to start
You put
this.
it off.
Like,
Even then, you put it off a little
yeah,
bit
dude, I
after.
did.
Yeah.
I put it off, and then
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I gotta get in the pool, dude. So I got in the
Yeah.
pool, recorded myself, uploaded myself, and then saw that I was just horrendous at swimming, thank you
Yeah.
to social media. Um, and it wasn't even that bad. Like nobody was actually being like mean to me. Like the harshest thing I got was somebody on TikTok was like, "Hey, I used to do swimming competitively. you should really look up these drills, which only helped me, right? It wasn't like, like, see if you can get your refund, see if you can get a refund back, dude. Like, you should have started when you were younger. It was like, the kids class starts at 3, dude. There was
Bro.
nothing like that. It was just, which I honestly
Yeah.
kind of like was hoping for, dude, because I did, I played football here in Texas, and so that's almost a religion in itself,
Yeah.
playing high school football here in Texas. And so I'm very accustomed to essentially just, getting yelled at in practices. And not because we suck, we did though, but not because you suck, but that's just the
But not just because
culture.
of that.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that's just the culture, right? Like,
Yep.
you're dealing with all these kids. Some of them aren't paying attention, some of them are. The coaches are trying to get through to
It's
us
a
like,
tough
hey, if you
sport.
don't do
You
it
got to
this
be
way,
tough.
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So, so I'm accustomed to being, like being told like, hey, like if you want to keep sucking, keep doing that shit. But if you don't want to keep sucking, you should start doing this. I'm used to
Yeah.
being talked to like that, and I appreciate
Yeah.
it because it's like in the most, like, what, brutal honesty or whatever. Like, you're not
Yeah.
sugarcoating anything, right?
Yeah. And it sounds like you like, even if it's from a random stranger online, like coachable, right? Like being open
Mm-hmm.
to someone's ideas, being open to like, hey, check this
Right.
one guy out who like on YouTube has great like technique videos, whatever. Like
Mm-hmm.
you were just like
Yeah.
open to it,
If
which, you
if
need
it's
that.
constructive, yeah, if it's constructive, I will gladly take it. But if it's
Yep.
just like, your running form is shit,
What am I
what am
gonna
I
do with
supposed to
that?
do with that, dude?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
your running form is
Thanks.
shit, versus like your running form is shit, you should be picking your heels up more whenever you
Hmm.
turn over. Okay, let me look into that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Google or YouTube high heel turnover or whatever, and
Yeah.
then,
Learning
we
terms
can
like
build off of
cadence
that.
and being like, okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah,
cool.
exactly.
I wanna talk like specifically like go really deep on the swimming for a second because I mean selfishly I want to next year I'm planning to do an Ironman, like that's what I'm setting myself up for. And this year got other like priorities, but specifically on the swimming. So, did you have any prior swimming? What would that look like? And then like how did you like yeah, like figure out the technique, train, and how long did it take for you to like really just feel like, all right, I got it down at least.
Yeah, so for the swimming, it was unique because I had like no formal swimming experience before that. So
Let's go.
like
That's
one
cool.
thing one yeah, one
That's cool
thing
though.
that I pride myself in, or that I love about myself, is I am able to like watch somebody do something, and after a bit I can pretty much mimic what they're doing in a sense. So like I essentially, as a kid, I taught myself how to swim, all because I would see other people swimming and I would see what they were doing and I would
Hmm.
mimic those movements. And then eventually I was like swimming in a sense, right? And then I just kept that, but I never did anything competitively or anything formal or whatever, because I grew up in Florida most of the first half of my life, but the beach was still like half an hour away, so you can't just go there willy-nilly whenever you want to.
Right.
And then like nobody in our family had a swimming pools or anything like that, so there was no pools to practice the swimming in either, right? But as a kid, I, in a sense, taught myself how to swim to where I knew how to float in the water and things like that and get from, this point to this point.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you do? Was it a lot
And
of doggy paddle? Just kind of
I
up
can't
here.
remember. It had to be though, dude. Yeah, eventually. But yeah, I can't, once the swimming came about, obviously I was just watching videos leading up before the first swim, because obviously when I was younger, I used to think freestyle was you could swim however you wanted. I didn't know freestyle was
That's
a
fair, man.
specific style, right?
Right. That's
So
fair.
until I talked to one of my buddy's wives, who she did competitive swimming in high school, and then
Hmm.
one day I asked her, I was like, well, what's freestyle? Or she told me like I used to do the freestyle, and I was like, well, what did you do? She was like, freestyle. And I was like, oh, that's its own thing. I thought that
Yeah.
was like you could do whatever of them. They were like,
Bro,
no,
you
no,
thought
no,
she was
free.
pop locking and dropping in like
Yeah,
the pool, just like,
yeah,
oh, you
uh-huh.
were breakdancing in the
Yeah,
pool? Yeah, that's sick.
yo, dude. Yeah.
That's
No,
cool. That's
so
cool. I love
so
meeting
she
swimmers
explained it, yeah.
because they're like a rare breed for sure. Like,
Hmm.
I don't know. Usually, they just there's a certain type that whenever I meet a swimmer, I'm like, yeah, you look like one, or like you have like the movements of one, and
Hmm.
I don't know. I really respect swimmers a lot. So, but go
No, for
ahead, keep
sure.
going. Yeah,
Yeah, and I have like a greater appreciation for it now too. But yeah, I
yeah.
was just watching like any kind of like how to swim. And this is the thing where I tell people, like when people are like, "Oh, I don't know how to," like one of my other buddies, his wife, they've started running as well. They've gotten into running, and We were over one day for one of their kids' birthday parties, and then one of my other buddies, the one who was supposed to sign up for the 50 miler but never did, he was there as well with his wife. So we were all just chatting,
That's
and
fun. I like those chats. Yeah, that's a good
yeah,
like
yeah,
little round table there. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So then she, one of them brings up like, hey, I don't like, is there anything I can watch to get better at running or whatever? And I was like, yeah, just YouTube how to run and then go from there. And then I guess it's like they think that I'm joking, or it's when your personality comes to bite you back in the ass, and they're like, okay. And I'm like, no, seriously, just Google or
Yeah.
research, YouTube search how to run, and you're gonna find videos on how to run. And then from there, you just follow the flow of the videos. How to run, best shoes for running. Where should my cadence be at? What should I eat when you run? What running strength work? It just feeds itself, right?
Yeah. Some
And
people don't love that's the work people you like have to do that work. You like have to figure it out for
yeah,
yourself because you can have someone coach you and that's great, but you're paying money, whatever. It's almost more rewarding to just do it yourself. Like go through
mm-hmm.
muscle through the learning of it. So I think that's really cool. Did she end up like doing that?
Yeah, yeah. Like I told him, like, dude, just watch that, like, because that's exactly what I did as well. I didn't know anything about shoes before. I didn't know anything about, cadence before. I didn't know anything about fueling before. I didn't know anything about, distance to styles of workouts, to what intervals were, to what easy was, to what zone two was, to all this other stuff. I just watched the videos, dude. Even for me, like I won't always watch it, but at least I'll play it while I'm doom scrolling, so then I can hear something, and then I
Yeah.
can think back to it, and I'll save it to watch later as well, so I can go back to it and actually pay attention to it.
Like classical
But
music to a baby. Like just absorb it in your sleep if you can. Something. Do
yeah,
do something, yeah. Well, real quick, like what was like a podcast or like that you really like loved for if you could just quickly like running, biking and swimming. Were there like any particular ones that you like really liked or remember the names of? They might be hard to remember,
yeah.
but
So the ones that I listen to now are The Running Effect is one of them. It's hosted by a young kid. I say he's like in his early 20s from what I
I think
remember,
I've heard of
but
that one. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, he's really good. He gets a lot of like good runners and good like coaches, and like anybody's good, right? At a certain point. But
Yeah.
the variety of people he gets on there is really cool because you'll get like high schoolers who are breaking the 4 minute mile and who are going to the Brooks challenges, cross country people who are breaking records as well, NCAA champs. Apparently he's real good buddies with somebody who works for Nike, like one of the coaches for Nike running. So he
Yeah.
gets to have him on there a lot as well. That's one of them. Through Their Stride was the one that I was on recently. So shout out to Sam and Through Their Stride podcast. His is cool because it's just like a lot of like everyday people who are just doing amazing things of just in the concept of running, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
moms who run and win these races. It's people who overcome addictions and win these races. It's couples who had no prior health or exercise experience who decided one day to start running together or whatever. It's cool stuff like that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
One of the other ones would be Allie on the Run. That one's hosted by her name is Allie, and same thing. She has a good. That one's cool, and the reason I like that one is because it's a woman, obviously Allie, but you get to hear a woman's perspective on running because a woman's body is so much different than ours, and they go through so much different things than us. So she gets the same thing. Moms on there. She gets other like people who run for just fun, for charity, or anything like that. And she talks about her own experiences as well. So that's another good one as well. And once again, it's not necessarily like I'm listening to see what I can learn. It's more of just like I'm listening to see what people are experiencing, and if I can relate to that in any way, or if I
Yeah.
can get a breakthrough in something in any way.
Yeah, and it's
But
different
yeah.
perspectives because like women might have a different tool set, and like you can pull from that sometimes. Or
Mhm.
we're, we're not 6 foot, we're not the tallest guys, but we can learn a little bit from like the disadvantages of maybe tall people in certain aspects, and like
Yeah.
so I like that you do that because it's like you just get a holistic perspective on
Mhm.
like niche things, and then you can like learn and pull from that and then kind of lean into your advantages. So that's really cool. Yeah, I saw that podcast episode you were on. So that's awesome. I'm glad he like just shining the light on like everyday ballers and like sick people
Hmm.
is like so cool because this shit's not easy, and we don't have all the hours in the day, and a lot of us are doing like still normal stuff, husbands, parents, teachers, full times,
Hmm.
whatever, and like it's cool. So that I respect more. Not that you don't respect the athletes, but the people who are like doing it, and don't get paid and don't have the time and still make it happen.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
those are the ballers for sure.
for sure, yeah. But yeah, so to get back to the swimming, yeah, I was just watching videos, and then in my head, I would like picture myself doing the stuff, and then, yeah, I just jumped into the pool and went at it, recorded myself, got all this stuff, posted it, and then people commented on it, and then from there, it was just a lot of like, okay, focus on what you can, because in swimming, especially for triathlon, people recommend that you learn how to do breaststroke as a form to reset and during the swim. Yeah,
Yeah.
my breaststroke was
Uh,
horrendous, and I only had 2 months to learn how to swim.
huh.
And I was like, okay, I don't think I'm gonna benefit from trying to fixing my breaststroke. My freestyle is, apples to oranges or whatever, but my freestyle is better. I can fix my freestyle better than I can correct my breaststroke. And
Yeah.
I can gain more from just doing from doing the freestyle and flipping on my back for backstroke than I can from trying to develop all these three things. So I
Yeah.
threw breaststroke to the side. I don't know if I will ever honestly work on it because I just have no desire for it, to be honest with you. But I've just focused on freestyle and then flipping onto my back to do breaststroke to try to reset, to use that as my reset, and then flipping back over from backstroke to freestyle to take off again. So it was a lot of that, and it was just, just as you're swimming, it's kind of one of those things where like you're almost in a flow state where like you're swimming, but you're also trying to imagine what you look like from above so you can correct yourself in certain ways, right? Because
Yep.
the thing that sucks is if you don't have like a dedicated swimming center, like an aqua center where they have the 50-meter pools and things like that, and actual coaches there and people who go there from who were former competitive swimmers or anything, you really don't have anybody there to help you like correct your form or anything like that. So you
Yeah,
just
that's
have to keep
true.
recording yourself and like hoping that you're doing it right. And then just one of the key things, I don't do this enough. I used to, but one of the other key things that I've been telling people now is to like journal the workouts. So when you have a good workout, write down why it was good. Did you correct your form better? Was the day better? Did you eat before it? What did you eat before it? Was there no stress at work? Things like that. When you have a bad workout, write what made the workout bad, right? Was
Mm,
it a stressful day at work? Did you not eat that day? Was the food you ate bad? Did you have a fight with somebody? Are you just extremely exhausted today? Things like that, because then it helps you be able to piece like, okay, Monday, Wednesday, Friday were great because, and this is what I did those days. Why is it that Tuesday and Thursday I keep having shitty days, right?
yeah.
Maybe do I need to restructure my workout because maybe I'll benefit more from doing these workouts on these days because of whatever, But in a sense, I would keep like a mental journal of like, okay, hey, today I went faster. I was swimming faster. I had a better pace. And I do recall feeling that I was catching the water better, that my technique was a little bit better. I wasn't gasping for air on certain sections of the swim and things like that. So
Yeah.
it's little things like that. And then yeah, man, it just kept one of the things. It's like it's just volume for sure. So like the way ChatGPT structured it out for me, it'd be like, hey, you're gonna swim a total of like 600 yards today. You're gonna swim a total of 800 yards today. You're gonna swim a total of 1,000 yards today. And it would break down like how you're gonna swim. 2 sets of 400 yard laps. So you're swimming for 400 laps, not 400 laps, but 400 yards, and then taking a quick break, and then swimming another, and then breaking it up like that.
Yeah. What did
Doing tech.
the what were the hours and mileage or like distance that you had in the beginning that it gave you? Like what was that weekly or like yeah, weekly. Do you remember?
For swimming or for in total between the
Uh
three
yeah,
disciplines?
we can all three. Yeah, like what was the total weekly hours and
Oh
distance across the three?
man,
Do you remember? Or
dude, it
maybe in
had
the
to
middle,
be.
like yeah.
It was slow because the thing that I utilized for this time around, because obviously running is like the longest thing. That was the thing that can take up most of your time, right? Because running 6 miles it varies between every person, right? Most people
Mm,
can knock it out within an hour, right? Some people take an hour and a half. Some people take only 45 minutes. It also depends on the style of run that you're doing that day, right? So what I decided to utilize for the Ironman training block was just time on feet instead of mileage. I didn't want to worry about today I have to do 10 miles or whatever or anything like that. And thankfully, because I already done 2 marathons, like I know I can run 26 miles. Like
mm-hmm.
I know I can push my body to that. How low can I do it? Well, that just depends on the training block that I have before it. But I was like, okay, I know time on feet is essential because I'm gonna be on my feet for anywhere between 4 to 6 hours after swimming and biking. So I don't want to. I know I can run 26 miles. How well can I run 40 minutes after being on the bike for 2 hours? How well can
Mm,
I run 50 minutes or an hour and interval sessions after being on the bike for an hour and a half doing speed sessions on there was my philosophy during this training block. So in the beginning, dude, I think I probably was barely scratching like maybe 5 or 6 hours total training, give or take. Because thankfully I was able to use my FSA to buy a Wahoo kicker, the bike trainer. So I was able to
mm-hmm.
snag that and have that at home so I didn't have to worry about actually riding. Because sometimes the bike workout would happen after work and it was still super dark out, and riding at
Yeah,
night is super dangerous, right?
yeah,
So thankfully, I was able to pick up the bike trainer and pick up a Zwift account, which again, it's another subscription, another like 20 bucks to, be able to do your workouts. And then, focus on that. So yeah, in the beginning, dude, I had to be scratching like 6, 7 hours maybe. In the middle, I probably got closer to like maybe again 7, maybe scratching 8 hours. Peak week was weird because something was going on in between then, and I can't really remember. I'm not sure if the schedule was just wrong for me or if there was something going
yeah.
on at work. It had to be something with work. But like my true peak week was not. I couldn't do it. I think I was just exhausted from work at the time
Yeah.
of what we had going on there. So then I just adjusted the training, the workouts that week, and then the next week I told ChatGPT like, hey, this needs to be another peak week because last week I had to adjust everything.
Yeah.
And so we, worked with ChatGPT to make the adjustments on the new peak week and did that. That one I probably got close to like again 7 or 8 hours. I didn't I guess I got the hours in that I best could
Yeah.
without burning myself out and driving myself with too much stress about of like, again, like how am I gonna hit these workouts and all this stuff, and then how am I
Yeah.
gonna deal with work and all this stuff. So yeah, dude, I know for sure I never broke like 10 hours of training time in the week
That's
for
crazy.
sure.
That's interesting. Yeah, because like you have to peak at least a good amount of percentage of the time that you're actually going to be running the race. So
Hmm.
that's I was curious about that. Yeah. So, chat. By the way, after this, I'm gonna have to make like a little recap thing of all the subscriptions and like where ChatGPT played a role because it's. I mean, it looks like it helped a lot, which I use it a ton as well.
Hmm.
So shout out to ChatGPT for helping with the plan and like
For
pivoting
sure.
too. Helping you kind
Yeah.
of pivot. Did you feed it also like what would you eat or anything, or how deep did you go with
I
how
didn't
much you
go
would feed
that
it?
deep. I asked it like, hey, what's good nutrition for me? And then it would tell me, like, hey, you should like here are good foods for you. Here are good snacks for you for training and things like that. And then it would go into here's how many grams of carbs you should be taking in during training and things like that. So I asked it, but like my nutrition was like if compared to like someone who does this like as like a semi-professional or pro is dog shit compared to them because I would primarily eat like just either pasta and chicken or white rice and chicken, Greek yogurt. I started introducing fruits towards the end of it only because like I don't like again, dude, everything just adds up. Like if you buy fruits individually, then you don't always use them and then they spoil or
Yeah.
whatever like that. And then you have to cut them and then you have to package them in there and then things
Yeah.
like that. Breakfast, a lot of eggs, like 4 to 5 eggs is what I usually eat whenever I do breakfast with either like breakfast sausage in there is what I did most of the time. I try to stay away from the bacon, yeah, but
I love a
and a whole
sausage.
lot of Whataburger.
Pause.
Yeah, dude, a whole lot of water, whole lot of Whataburger after workouts, dude.
That's right. You guys have that. So lucky, bro. We don't
Yeah,
have any like we have like Shake Shack, but that's like that's nothing. That's we
yeah,
don't
it
got
does
any
not
good burgers
compare.
over
Yeah,
here. Yeah, I think we have one Whataburger, but it's far.
yeah, yeah.
So you get the
So, but yeah,
goods.
like and on the flip side, it's like we're fortunate enough to be able to eat all of that and still perform the way we do because we're we're burning the calories for it. We're putting in the effort, and we actually need that we need that amount of calories back in us.
And someone looking to do this, man, like that's an easy like incentive right there is for all of this. You just need to eat
Yeah.
and it obviously eat good, like don't get
hmm
me fast food all the time or like processed, but like you get to eat so much and that's so fun. And you're like, it's fine. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
burning this fuel for the body for the training and like performance. So food is like a nice seven a nice haven that you can like rely on for
For
this
sure,
sort of
yeah,
like
yeah,
thing.
because you don't necessarily feel bad after eating a pizza, eating a whole medium-sized pizza or
Yeah.
whatever. Dude, you earned that with the swim and the bike that you did earlier, or with the
Yeah.
16-mile run you did earlier or whatever. So yeah, I didn't get that deep into it. It was just more of like the simple stuff as far as like, hey, I was tired these days, so I had to skip this workout or I adjusted the workout to this, right?
Yep.
And like I said, I've told you before, but I haven't mentioned it yet on here. ChatGPT does have like a bot in there for Ironman coaching that was created by an actual Ironman coach.
Oh
So
wow.
that's why I was like, okay, this is good. Like this is what I need, versus like trying to use Runna to train me for a triathlon or anything like
Yeah,
that,
no.
right?
Yep.
So that's why I liked using it. And then you brought it up the other day whenever I was asking you about Claude, that you've been using chat for like 2 or 3 years now. So it knows you. It knows you better than what Claude does right now. And that's the thing that I'm picking up right now is I'm using ChatGPT to help create a new like mobility and rehab program. And here in a bit, I need to get to it to ask it about a training block because I'm next month is the plan to start easing into a training block again.
Nice.
It's really fascinating how it can remember everything already whenever I ask it. Like the other day I asked it like, "Hey, between this stretching app and this stretching app, which one is better?" And then it was like, "Well, since you're a triathlete now, you can utilize this more and all this shit." And it's like, "Oh
Yeah.
my God, like how do you remember, dude?"
Yeah.
So yeah, for anybody like I highly recommend it too because it's the same as running like $20 a month or whatever
Yeah.
yearly it
20
is,
bucks a
dude.
month, that's right. Yeah.
And you can use it for anything, dude. So you can use it for your Ironman, and then if you do an office job, you can use it for your Excel sheets or for your programmings or for your coding or whatever. If you have, like, if you just don't know how to schedule too, like, you can put in what your schedule, like, what you need to get done, and then it can help you schedule your life, help you figure out, obviously, like, terms and all this other stuff that you don't know about. It's really great, but also the thing is that, like, it's very easy for it to be wrong as well in the sense of, like, you have to still do your own research on it no matter what, like whatever it gives you, like you always have to go and you should always be going to look at like what if what it's giving you is actually correct or if what it's giving you is like old outdated information.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can ask it to search the web. I usually love to start on a new topic, have it do deep research because then it gets like a baseline for whatever the topic is. So it's like Iron Man. But sometimes there are bots. That's cool. I didn't know that someone made one that you can connect to your chat. So I love chat and Claude, and I use Gemini just because like Google it'll put things on like so I'll actually have like maybe next time it is like have chat make it and then you could throw it into your Gemini if you use Google or whatever and then it'll auto input all of it into your calendar. I don't know if you were already doing that, but that way I don't have to like
Not
manually plug in the things into calendars. I use my calendar for everything. That's
yeah,
this way. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say like yeah, and that's what I'm utilizing more now too is or maybe that's what I should utilize this next time is actually getting the workouts into my calendar versus just having chat make a PDF file of like, hey, here's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or whatever, and
Yeah.
actually getting it to create it to where it's actually in my calendar. So when I look at what I'm doing Tuesday, I know I have this workout to do. And so in my eyes right now, I just see it as making it easier for me to know what I can do and what I can't do those days.
Yeah, it's really I like yeah, I use my calendar for everything. So if I can see it, I'm like, cool. 60 minutes right here, hour and a half, da
hmm
da da, and I see the week at a glance. But I have so for the Ironman, you're actually in it,
hmm
and I'm like curious, like those last because you had a sick photo, and maybe I can like build it into the clip here or something. But like you had a sick photo where you ended and you posed, but like before that, let's just go back like even 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Like, how are you feeling? Do you remember that moment? Like, how you're like, I'm about to finish this. Like, I'm really curious about that part, especially after. just like a full day, like so much time out
Mm-hmm.
there. I was watching you that day. I was just at the pool at my apartment complex, but I was watching you,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, I kept telling my girlfriend, I was like, look, he's still biking. And then,
Mm-hmm.
minutes would, or like whatever, an hour would pass. We'd be back at the apartment. Look, he's still biking. And it's just
Yeah.
like, and she was like, let's go taco. You remember,
Mhm.
you met Mary Kate,
Yeah, yeah.
and we were both just kind of like, damn, it's cool. And I think I texted you during it, but I know obviously you weren't gonna be able to answer, and you were just out there. So like, sorry, yeah, go. What was the last couple like 20, 30 minutes where you're just like, just a 5K left, baby, let's go.
Dude, it's so surreal because like you said, dude, you're out there all day. So like they give us 17 hours from when the last person starts to swim to complete the course. So you're out there all day. I took almost all 17 because I finished with 16 hours and 38 minutes. So I like to tell people that like, hey, dude, I paid $1,000 to be out here. I'm gonna use every single minute that I can
That's good.
of
I
this
like
race.
that. I like that a
I'm
lot.
getting
That's
my
good.
money's worth, dude. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, man, those last 20, 25, 30 minutes, dude, it was like relief. Like, okay, like I'm so close to finishing, dude. I'm so close to getting that, to hearing those four words, to getting that medal, to being done and all this stuff. And it's also like kind of not checking yourself, but you're like, in my head, I was like, holy shit, I really did just swim 2.4 miles and biked 112 miles, and now I'm almost done with the marathon.
You almost don't want it to end. You're like,
Yeah, yeah,
can
it's
we just
just
throw
like,
in a couple more on this? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And then it's just like, because the run course is just loops, right? So it was just an 8 mile loop. So you by the second loop,
Oh.
landmarks and stuff like that, right?
Hmm.
So you're not even paying attention to mile marker. I wasn't paying attention for mile markers from the beginning. Since it was an 8 mile loop, I knew, hey, three laps and then we're done. So I didn't care what mile marker was in my face. I just knew, I was like, okay, I'm here. This is about halfway. I'm almost done with this lap, and then I have another lap to go. Is how I was processing the whole thing. But yeah, man, like, I'm thinking like, okay, I'm here. I know when I get to this little bridge, I'm gonna be this far away from the next aid station, and I don't know when I'm at that aid station, I'm gonna be this far away from the next aid station, and I'm just thinking like, okay, like, I'm literally getting closer, like I'm literally getting closer to the finish line, and like I'm almost there. The way the run course is that the finish line is literally in a sense like right above you, the way that city center is designed. So because there's a waterway through it. It connects to Lake Woodland, so that's, there's the lake, and then the lake feeds into this canal that goes through the city
That's
center
where
where
you
all
were
the
swimming.
restaurants and shopping is. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but to get down there, you essentially, there's a bridge that goes over the canal, and on that bridge is where they had the finish line. So as you're running through a certain portion of the course, you're hearing people's names. You are an Ironman, and the crowd's going
Really?
crazy, and you're like, and I'm just thinking like, dude, in a bit, like that's gonna be me. That's
That's gonna
my
be
name
that's
is gonna be called
that's
up
awesome
there.
motivation. That's cool.
Yeah, dude, it's so nice. So I don't know if that was intentional, but like it's so so nice because like literally like you said, like it's just reminding you that like you're already here. Like this is it. Like the hardest parts are over, dude. Like
Hmm.
this is the easiest it's gonna be, and you're almost there. So then, yeah, that last like three kilometers, my buddies found me again, and it was so nice to be able to see people again that you knew. So I was already like jog shuffling at this point, but then I saw them, and then I started walking because I was like, okay, I know these guys, I can talk to them, and then I can
Yeah.
relax and in a sense like de-stress because I know like I'm looking at the time too, like can I make it? Okay, I got plenty of time to walk X amount of time with these guys and just rest and recover and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I guess my buddies thought that I was like giving up or whatever because I stopped jogging, and I was like, dude, like I have plenty of time, like I'm gonna make it. Like I just want to talk to y'all.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and then we ran into another set of buddies that came out to see me, and stopped and chatted with them again, took some pictures and all
Nice.
that. And then after that, it was literally like a little bit more than a mile. And one of my buddies jogged with me for a bit. And then once we got to like almost the last section where you can break off and you can go to the finish line as a spectator, or you keep on the course and then you finish the last bit of it to go to the finish line. So we broke off and he went and posted up out there, dude. And yeah, those last like 20 minutes are just like every step you're like, I'm closer. Like I'm getting closer. Like every step, you know, I'm almost there. I'm getting there. And you're seeing the people that you were on the bike with. Like I met a guy from Canada who was doing the course, and I saw him coming towards the end as well, and you know, shouted him out and you know,
Yeah.
high-fived him and all that stuff. The coaches from all these other triathlon clubs are still out there as well, and they're cheering you on as well. You're not even associated with these people, but it's just such good energy of like
Respect.
everybody's out here for the same reason. Yeah, it's like we're here to finish this thing. So they're cheering for you, dude. Like I'm passing people up and I'm giving them words of encouragement as well. Like, hey, dude, you look great, because you know every age is out there, right? I saw like an older black guy out there as well who like looks like somebody's grandpa. He probably is, but it's just the fact that this older gentleman is out here and he's pushing it just as much as I'm pushing it. It's like,
Love it.
holy shit. I was like, I
Yeah.
I see you, OG, and he smiles back at me, you know, and says the same thing. And so it's really like, I guess like it's a good atmosphere because you know like everybody around you is about to do the exact same thing. Like
Yeah.
we all went through the same swim, we all went through the same bike course, and we're all going through the same run. So like you're seeing all these people about to accomplish the same thing as you're seeing it. So it's just like another kick. Like, dude, if they're doing it, then I'm doing it. And if I'm doing it, then they're doing it. And if we're all doing it, then we're all Ironman at the end of the night
Yeah.
tonight,
We're in
dude.
this moment together.
So,
It's really cool. Yeah. I imagine it's amplified times marathon because it's like, you know, you've gone through way more. You've done so many more things. You've like almost drowned and
yeah.
biked your ass off, and now you're running. And like, yeah, it's just you're coming out of war, and
Hmm.
you're coming out of war with people you don't know, but somehow you feel attached and like
Oh,
connected to.
absolutely.
So that's awesome. My question, so when you're ending, it seems like everyone kind of has their own little moment, like it's not clogged up because they're able to say like so and so you are an Iron Man, and like there's a moment where you can get a picture and kind of have your moment, and then there's not a, is it just because people are staggered, or like how did you, why is it that people can do
It's
that?
it's just 'cause
Timing.
it's pretty much, yeah, dude. It's just like obviously the faster you are, the quicker you can finish it. And the more experience you have, the more you know how to work through it. So like I didn't even realize that I had like the red carpet to myself essentially until one of my buddies pointed it out. Like, yeah, dude, like, you know, you and then when I look at the video now, like there was one guy like right behind me, but he took his time to get down that walkway as well. But you know, it looked like I was on there by myself, and I
Yeah.
didn't even realize it until after. But it's just because like I was just so slow. It took so long to finish. But yeah, like when you're faster, and that's what you see, the faster folks, they're finishing within the same amount of time together, right? So
Mm.
that's why it gets so clogged up, because like they just have more experience. They've trained more for it, right? You know, maybe they finished the bike portion faster than you, but they took longer on their run portion, things like that, you know. But it's really just like the just how you landed, you know. If you just happen to take longer during the bike, then you're gonna finish a little bit shorter, you know, a little bit later on into the
Yeah.
evening, right? Whereas like if you can finish each discipline in like certain criteria in certain time frames, you're gonna be able to finish earlier with other people who put in the same amount of effort as you or trained the same amount of time as you and things like that,
Yeah.
you know?
It was a cool finish. Well, I'll throw a video but or a photo up, but what your stance? Can you like give me a little, can you give us a little background on like you posed in a unique way
Hmm.
and you told me why, but can you like say it again?
Yeah, so obviously, like if anybody hasn't caught on, like we're Mexican, so we're super prideful of where we come from and of our culture and of our history. So years ago, I discovered about the World Baseball Classic Series. So that's where all the nations in the world they get teams together for baseball, and they have a baseball tournament. And we're lucky enough to be hosting a couple of games pretty much every year. Houston, or every time it happens, Houston will host a couple of games here at Daikin Park now. Used to be Minute Maid Park, but it's where the Astros play. So we'll host a couple games. And the first time I was keeping up with the series, I saw Mexico was doing really well in the series, and it turns out Mexico is a really nice powerhouse as far as like for baseball, which people wouldn't assume because obviously
Yeah.
everybody assumes like soccer with Mexico and shit like
Yeah.
that. But yeah, so I saw we were doing really well. And I was like, oh hell yeah. And even if we were doing really shitty, like obviously we're still prideful of the team no matter what, right? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I saw we were doing really well, and I was like, okay, that's cool. And then I saw one of the players from there was an Astro player as well. So I was like, oh dude, this is amazing, you know. But anyway, I saw after the series, after that first time, there was a lot of like hype and promo videos of him, of the Mexico national team, of just, hitting the home runs, catching the balls and all this stuff, doing slides to get to bases and things like that. And then a common thing throughout the footage was that they would all, whenever something big happened, whether it was a home run or whether they stole a base or whether they got on base or whatever, made a great play, the Mexico players would usually run together and they would stand, lean back a little and cross their arms.
Yeah.
And it became, to me, I just saw it consistently, and it just became like the symbol of like Mexico baseball. What the what people who normally play in the MLB are now playing for their national team, their home, where they come from. And it's just like something that when I see it happen, it's just like a sign of like, yeah, like this is us. Like estos, in like a sense of Spanish, like estamos aquí para hacer mamadas o lo que sea. Y nosotros somos los chingones aquí. We are the
Yeah.
badasses here because we're Mexican first and foremost. So it's just a pose that stuck with me forever. And I just love it. I just love seeing it in the videos. So whenever
Yeah.
we got lucky, baseball classic happened again this past year. And I got to take my brother to a game to go see Mexico versus Brazil, and it was just so awesome because they beat Brazil, like they actually mercy ruled them. But it
Oh,
was just being
it's
surrounded
tough.
by everybody,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's just being surrounded by everybody, who's we all originate from the same place, and being able to see the players do that pose was like so amazing. So it's just like an empowerment pose to me. And so obviously, like whenever you're training for something like this, you're always thinking about what am I going to do when I get to the finish line? What's going to be my big huzzah moment? And, what am I going to do to make it memorable or whatever besides already just completing this? So then I was, thinking, literally looking at myself in the mirror, just like picturing myself crossing the finish line. Like, what am I going to do? Because you see all these other videos of people crossing the Ironman finish line, and, they either just like do a big yell or they have, their flag with them from their country or whatever, or they have another cool little pose or motion that they do. And it's like, what can I do? What can I do? And then I remembered, all the guys from the Mexico team doing that pose, and I was like, oh, dude, that would be so badass to do that,
Yeah.
because it's like, in a sense, it's like a niche reference. Like anybody who keeps up with baseball and from Mexico is gonna know, like, okay,
Right.
Randy does that, Alejandro from the Diamondbacks, who I think he's out in the Dodgers now, does that and all this shit. Like, oh, I know that pose, whatever.
Yeah.
And people do, because when I uploaded that edit to TikTok, I had people comment, and like one guy commented like, oh, this shit is so motivating, dude. Like, thank you for this. And then I had another guy who uploaded his own photo, and he's like, dude, I do the same thing at every marathon as well, this and that. So like, it's really like a unison thing. Like,
Yeah.
if you're Mexican, then you recognize it. So
Yeah.
I just, it was a way for me to throw my, the country that my parents come from out, where I originate from, and it was a way for me to throw respect to the Mexican culture as well, and just, to show people like, a person didn't just do this, but a Mexican did this off of 2 months of training.
Which is insane. That's an excellent, excellent leeway into like just the final part of this, which is like Mexican, Mexicanos.
Mm-hmm.
This is crazy. Like what we do, I want to do an Ironman. I'm doing ultra marathons. We both do martial arts. Which, by the way, how often are you doing that these days, or kind of off the plate for now, kind of thing?
Yeah, dude, it's back and forth because so like I love it. Like where I train at, my instructor, he was like in somewhat of like the golden era of martial arts growing up. So he was actually fortunate enough to get certified by one of the few people who was certified by Bruce Lee and Jeet Kune Do. So like he's one of the, like, yeah, like you can ask her, like you see Jeet Kune Do being tossed around like in all these like other gyms and stuff like
Yeah.
that, but like he, like literally the one of the guys that was certified by Bruce Lee himself, he got to train with, and he was certified with him through that. So, and he's been able to train with like some one of the guys who was like the main instructor for like the Navy and their self-defense training and stuff like that. His best buddy, they have a really good friendship because they always trained together growing up, and one of them, my coach, we can say, he he just had the life of where he had to work, so like he had to stop training and work to start providing for himself and for his family. His
Yeah.
buddy was a little bit more fortunate in the sense that he
Mhm.
didn't have to work. He got to train more, but then he didn't always have the funds to go to seminars and things like that. So
Yeah.
my coach would pay for his buddy to take flights out to California or whatever to attend these seminars and learn and be able to bring that knowledge back to their hometown here. So yeah, it's very like like nitty as it can get. Like we train in his garage. He has like a bunch of punching bags that we really don't utilize because we use the mitts a lot more, but he
Mhm.
trains anything from like kids all the way up to like adults who just want to gain confidence or just be healthier, things like that, and he hosts classes. But it's in his garage, no AC, just the fan, and if he's nice enough that day he'll turn the fan on. But it's in the Texas heat, or in the Texas cold even sometimes. But yeah, it's in and out, and the reason why I backed off of it more now is because we need our legs. Like, obviously, I need my legs to run, I need my legs to cycle. And luckily, the people I train with are already know like what I do, so they'll more, and I'll just tell them straight up, like, hey, don't kick me today, or simulate the kick, but don't put the power into it, or things like that. But the reason why, and that's like I said, the reason why I backed out of it was because I don't want to be doing jujitsu or doing Muay Thai or doing sparring or anything like that, and then because somebody spazzes out or because somebody's trying to go for a new lock or anything like that, now my Achilles gets torn, or now my knee gets fucked up, now my calf has a bruise or whatever, and now I can't train tomorrow or anything like that. So that's why I backed off of it. But I
Yeah.
love it. I've been doing it more recently, if you've been seeing it from my Strava, just as like another way to keep the cardio up while I, reduced my running mileage and my cycling mileage and the swimming as well. But my brother has taken it up, and he actually had a smoker fight like late last year in like November or something
Let's
like that.
go.
So
Yeah.
off of like same thing, he only trained for like 3 or 4 months. Like he didn't have a whole lot of training because the classes are only like once or like twice a week, since like there's a fight camp that he goes through. So it
Mhm.
was like maybe 2 or 3 sessions a week. So, yeah, he had his first smoker fight. That was really great to see. Super
Let's go.
proud of
I'll
him
have
for
to talk
that.
to him next because that's pretty sick to just jump into it. I mean, that's the only way to do it for something like
Hmm.
that. To be honest, just
Yeah,
go. But that's cool. I like that. Respect.
yeah.
That's awesome.
And then so for this one, he's doing another one at the end of this month, like not this weekend, but the weekend after. And it was just a way for me to be able to actually train with them, because I didn't get to train with them for the last one, because once again, like I need my legs. I like, I have to put myself first as far as like the dreams that I want to accomplish. So, but now since I don't have anything set until April, realistically, I was like, okay, well, I can train with him now. Same thing. We don't do too much with the kicking or anything like that, but with the striking, I really, not that I'm intentionally like beating him up or anything like that, but
Yeah.
obviously like we're trying to simulate fights,
Yeah.
a combat as much as we can. So I definitely give him, not necessarily hit him harder than I need to, but I make it as live as it can for him.
Yeah.
And the way our coach puts it is like, is the way he told him one day, was like, nobody's gonna make you better like your brother's gonna make you better. And not
Yeah.
necessarily because I'm quicker with the striking or anything like that, but just quite literally, like, like you with your sibling, like you can look at your brother and you know what he's good at and you know what he's not good at, you know what he thinks he's good at, and you know what he needs to do better to be as good as what he thinks he's good at, things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And the same way as I look at my brother, when I see him train, and when I look at him, like obviously it's like that phrase where they say like no man wants to see you do better than him, like your father. Like no other
Yeah.
man is ever going to be truly content with seeing you accomplish more than your father. And for me, it's the exact same with my brother. Like I want him to be so much better than me,
Yep.
and whatever he does. And that's why like I want to be there with him, to train with him, because I know I know what he needs to work on, and I know what I can help him become better at it, right?
Yeah.
Of course, at the end of the day, the big brother is always going to be better at everything, right? So
Undoubtedly.
there's few,
Undoubtedly.
there's few times where he's actually gonna like not
Catch
say
you.
like win the sparring or catch me or anything like that, but when he does, it's a very awesome moment, because you realize like okay, he is like, it's fucking
You're
working,
like,
like he's getting so much
oh,
better.
everyone's like, oh, yeah, bro.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that so much. My brother's trying to get him into boxing, but he's just finishing up school as an architect student, and it's just. But I want that for him. I'm like, I want you to be smarter, better, faster, whatever than me. Like, our parents are
Mm-hmm.
immigrants. Like, we have already surpassed them, which is what was the goal, right? Of being
Right.
children of immigrants. And I was born in Mexico, so it's like we've already surpassed them. Now I need you to surpass me as the younger brother. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm so glad. That's awesome. That's so cool. Tell him good luck at his next match, and if they live stream it or something, like throw me the link because I would love to watch it
Yeah,
or just
for
like
sure, dude. Like
root him on.
I'm so tempted to hop in there too. Like the more I think about it, like the more I really want to get in there as well. It's just like me weighing everything, right? Like
Yeah, is
it'd be
there's a lot
cool.
of there's a lot of risk.
Yeah, but like how will it necessarily help me in the end game, right? You know, like how's a sparring a random stranger and like the in a smoker fight gonna help me become better at the triathlon or become better at the running or whatever, right? So it's one of those things where, you know, because luckily the way the fight works out is you can decide like, hey, I'm just gonna do straight boxing, so you don't have to worry about kicking, or I'm just gonna do kickboxing, so you don't have to worry about grappling or whatever. Or, you know, hey, I want to do full MMA, so it goes from striking to grappling and all that jazz. So there's a way, you know, I can pick boxing and just not worry about my legs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But it's one of those things where like there's those and the caveat is there's always going to be it down the road, right? Like I'm like right now I'm not thinking like I'm going to be on my deathbed and be like, oh, like I really wish I would have like, you know, I would have taken up that sparring that one night or
yeah.
whatever like that. But I am going to be laying on my bed now saying like, yeah, I'm a fucking Ironman for
Yeah.
sure though.
Let's go. Yeah.
Uh,
It's seasons. Like right now you're in your Ironman season, you're in your endurance season, like
mhm,
and then one day you want to get into your sparring, Muay Thai, whatever. Just like it's just seasons of life. So I think it's
for
when you
sure.
think about it that way and you hope for a long, prosperous, healthy life, which if you're doing these things you're probably going to live a long time because you're going to be healthy. Like then it becomes less stressful of like, oh man, I can't get to do everything, but for right now, I feel like I can like just lean into this thing and down the line or in my low season kind of do the other thing.
Yeah, and it's like and more than anything, like what I'm doing is definitely like I feel like is definitely helping him as well. Like, okay, I may not be sparring at the same capacity that he is as far as like taking up these sparring fights and stuff like that, because that's a whole nother world in its own, right? To look at a calendar date and say like, all right, this day I'm gonna keep it open. I'm not gonna book anything else because I'm gonna go get punched in the face or kicked or all this other stuff by a complete stranger, and hopefully I'm gonna punch him and kick him a lot better. You know, that's a whole nother commitment to its own, as like what we do when we say like, okay, this day I'm gonna do a backyard ultra, and let's see how far I can run, or you know how many laps I can do or whatever. You know, this day I'm gonna run, you know, do a total of 140 miles. Let's see how well I can do 140 miles total, whatever. Let's see how fast I can run 26.2 miles this day or whatever. You know,
It
each
calls
one
for
has its
different
own level
things.
of like, yeah, each one has its own level of like difficulty and commitment. But you know, with doing all of this, like I feel like he gets to see like, holy shit, anything really is possible. Like my older brother is really did run a marathon, like really did run 26 miles. Holy shit, he really did run another 26 miles. Like holy shit, my brother's an Ironman. You know, like my brother swam, biked, and ran all in the same day. And like nobody else that I know has done anything of this caliber or whatever. And I feel like in my eyes, or I'm hoping that he sees all of this and he's like, okay, I can step into the ring and go a couple of rounds
Yeah.
and you know and commit myself to this and become better genuinely at it, right? Because the other thing is that like, holy shit, he did all of this and he can still beat me on a mat or whatever, you know? Like the other day at one of our training sessions, I showed up early so I could run 6 miles before it because I just really wanted to run and I really wanted to do 6 miles. So I showed
Yeah.
up, ran the 6 miles, came back in time for class because it was right there at our coach's house. So I just ran around the
Yeah.
block, did it, came back in time for class, and they all assumed like, oh, are you not going to train? Like, did you just come to run? And I was like, no, I'm going to train still. Like, yeah, let's go. Let's put the pads on. Come on. I guess they all assumed like, oh, he just did 6 miles. He's not going to want to work out and all this other stuff. No, and I still got in there, and then I still went sparring, did some sparring rounds with my brother, and we worked on a couple things for him to get better at and all this stuff. And then one of the coaches was like, you know, I figured you would be tired. I was like, no, dude, like I used to have to do this running after being on the bike for 2 hours, which equal to about like 25, 30 miles or whatever. That was just a Tuesday for me, dude. So
Yeah.
like, yeah, having like doing this much cardio throughout the day is like already ingrained into me. Like this is not new territory to me. Now we're just
Yeah.
doing at a different intensity,
Yeah. You're breaking
So
all
yeah.
these for your brother, you're breaking like the ceiling of what's possible, and people need to see that. And then for
Hmm.
yourself, you're breaking like the ceiling of like the intensity or like what you can fit into a day. So it's like finding those thresholds and then just breaking them and being like, how much can I push? Or like your brother seeing you and be like, how much can I push then in that case if he's doing all this? So I love that a lot. And kind of tying it back to family and like it, like again doing what we do, these kind of sports are just like being so crazy about like wanting to dive headfirst into all these things. What did your family or like did anyone be like did you have any pushback from anyone? Like yeah, did you have any like people telling you like what are you doing paying for these things? Like why don't you put a
Yeah.
down payment on a house because the market is so great for
Yeah.
us?
Yeah. No, so thankfully no, and and I say thankfully no because you always hear people say like, or you see the content of people like, or I was told that I couldn't do it, and I couldn't do a 70.3 in 9 months. I couldn't do a full Ironman in 11 months or 10 months. I can't train for a marathon in 3 months or anything like that. I never had any kind of negativity like that or any kind of like pushback, and I'm super grateful for that for the buddies that I'm surrounded with because
Yeah,
like same thing, dude. They've already accomplished so much in their own aspect as far as like being homeowners at what's like a relatively young age, like before they hit 30, having a family, having kids before hitting 30, owning their cars or buying new cars for their wives and things like that. Like one of my buddies, like his wife just became a stay-at-home wife now, so like all before hitting 30. So it's like holy, in this market, in this economy, to be
that's
able to
cool.
have that kind of luxury.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude, it's so cool. Like for me, it's weird because like I just like I hear all these horror stories of like HOAs and homes and then like all the insurance you have to go through and then fixing your home and then storms and then all this shit. I'm
yeah,
like, dude, I don't fucking deal with any of that, dude. I'm lucky. Like I still live at home with my parents, so like I'm lucky
yeah.
in that aspect. And I of course I help them out with like bills and stuff like that, which is like the endearingness of Mexican parents of like never wanting to let their kids go, but always saying like when the fuck are you gonna get out of the house.
Yeah, it's a
Mm.
weird dynamic because I'm just chiming in there because I'm trying to bring my parents to Charlotte to kind of
Mhm.
come live because I low key now that I'm older, I would like to spend whatever time I
Mm.
can I have left in
Yeah.
this life with them because they're my parents and they're like yeah, they're good they're my friends now. We understand each other,
Right.
but it's like this is like another rabbit hole, but in Mexico you never leave the house. You kind
Mhm.
of like always stay there. I had some aunts that lived with my grandma until they were like 30, 35. Like it's just what you do. It could be
Mhm.
economical, it could be whatever. It could be just the country or cultural. But then here it's glamorification glamour
Glamorize to leave as
glamorized to
soon as you
be the
can.
individual, to seek individualism
Mhm.
and to seek like your own things and move out and like your parents are just a stepping stone to the next thing. And it's like there's no I just yeah, I don't know where it comes from, but I like the fact that we come from culture that likes to stick together and
Yeah.
like and just be together. And yeah, it's tough because there's
Mhm.
adults dealing with adults, but I really enjoy that aspect a lot. And I don't yeah, it sounds like you have a healthy support system in every way around you for these types of things too.
Yeah, yeah, like I said, like I'm really fortunate because it could be the opposite just as easily where like like I'm not allowed to live at home because my mom doesn't want me there anymore and her husband doesn't like my presence or whatever, but it's none of that. It's literally like like, hey, as long as you like pay something, dude,
Help
and
out.
like you're not,
Yeah.
yeah, you're doing all right. So yeah, and that's like the other aspect of it, is like to sidetrack a little bit from that. Like I try not to push endurance or anything too much on people because like I'm lucky as I can say. Like I don't have a girlfriend, I'm not engaged, I don't have kids, I don't have a mortgage to worry about, I don't have rent to worry about. I just work and train. So I have the money to spend and the luxury, the time to spend on committing to this kind of stuff. Other people don't because they have to work in order to be afford to where they live, or they have kids, so they have to put in the effort to be parents and things like that. So I completely understand, and that's what I tell people. It's like, dude, you specifically have to find the time that works best for you. Just because I can run 3 times a week and bike twice a week and swim twice a week doesn't mean that you have to do that to accomplish the same goal. One of my buddies just registered for a marathon happening in Shiner, Texas, and it's his first marathon. He's doing a training plan through Runner right now, but like his effort and time that he's going to be putting in is going to be completely different than mine because he has 2 kids, he has his wife, he has his home,
Yeah.
you know, he has a whole other slew of responsibilities, and in the midst of all that, he's trying to find the time to run just the same as his wife, because now his wife is also into running as well, and she's trying to
Nice.
find the time to run as well. So
Yeah.
it's beautiful to see, and I just keep telling them, the main thing I told him is like, consistency doesn't mean every day. Consistency means just means a constant showing. So that doesn't mean Monday through Friday you're working out. It means every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday you're gonna run. And in between then you're gonna try to do anything extra or whatever, you know. Or every 2 Saturdays you're gonna do a long run, and in between that, those other Saturdays are gonna be for the kids, for outings or anything like that, you know. You know, it's what I try to get people to understand is like, you have to accommodate your goals to your lifestyle. Don't just think that because I'm doing it a certain way that you have to replicate it the same way. Like, obviously not. We live 2 completely different lives. So that's what I try to let people know whenever I talk to them and they say like, oh, I don't know if I could ever do that. It's like, you fucking can. Obviously you can. But you just have to do it in the best way that it works out for you. So yeah, going back to like the pushback, like I have plenty of cousins and everything, like we, you know, like most Mexicans do, right? We have big families, but like not because we don't like each other, we just don't really chat with each other that much, in the sense of
Hmm.
like, hey, what's going on, what are you doing, or anything like that. We just keep up with each other on what we're posting on social media. But like for most of it, like besides, like, it sounds weird because obviously I have the fitness Instagram page, and I post majority of my workouts and stuff on there. But besides that, like, it's funny because of the training, I don't socialize as much anymore. Besides the people that I see every day or already talk
Yeah.
to, so there's not a whole lot of like talking, telling people what I'm doing, which reduces the chance of hearing like, do you really think you should be doing that, or do you think you can accomplish that, or anything like that. Yeah, like our mom, for me and my brother, like, I like to tell people like, poor mom, one son likes to run really far and for no particular reason, and the other one likes getting punched and throwing punches. So, you know, her cortisol levels are through the roof, but
Yeah, for real.
she never once has said like, you shouldn't be doing that or anything like that.
That's awesome.
She has never once, yeah, said like, oh, I don't support it or anything like that. Every race that I finished and brought back the medal to, she was, you know, she looks at it and then she asks me about the race, how everything went, and then she says, all right, well, you know, congratulations. And the same for my brother. You know, anytime he has training sessions and he comes home with new bruises, she's like, well, who the fuck hit you this time, and
Yeah.
this and that, and why are you? How does the
Uh,
other guy look, and things like that. So yeah, man. And then after it got done, like. It was a lot of like congratulations from family members, of course, who saw the photos and the edits and things like that. So it
yeah.
was a lot of congratulations, and it was a lot of like not reassuring, but like confirming that I'm the only one in the family, in the bloodline, that would be crazy enough to do some shit like this.
I
So
love it. The outlier.
yeah,
That's what
it's
we want.
for sure. Yeah, the same for
Yeah.
my brother too. Like, obviously, like, he's the only one that's crazy enough to step into a ring voluntarily and go at it with another guy for X amount of times, you know. And we have cousins who went to the military and came back, and even they're
Mm.
like, dude, like, I would fucking never, you know. So yeah, it's definitely a sense. It's a badge of honor for sure to be able to be known as the guys who do the shit that's crazy and that seems completely wild. Hmm.
Yeah. It's coming out of all this, like obviously people are like, that's so cool, and like, but when you're in it, you kind of just go like, this is just kind of like what I do. Like you said, it's a no-brainer for you to run 6 miles and then you go and train. Like I've had 3 sessions a day, 3 hours of work. Like it's just what we do, and we kind of like, it starts to become the norm. Like it's
Hmm.
not anything crazy. But when you did the Ironman, you broke a new threshold for yourself, for your body, for your mind. Like you had never done that before. What do you feel like that did for you? Did it just kind of continue breaking that like ceiling for you, or did it change something in your psyche? Like what do you think was the biggest kind of like trait that you like pulled out from it, or like how are you changed from it? I'm really curious on like what if you feel different, what is that? now?
Dude, it's more of like confirmation for me that like I literally just have to keep going. Like forward progression is no matter how small of a step or how small of a forward movement you make is literally the key to all of this. Because during the swim, dude, that's where I wanted to quit. Like literally a few hundred meters into the swim, it was just in my head where the voice was like, just give up. Just give up, dude. You don't have to do this. This is fucking crazy. There's no reason for this. Your friends and family will understand why you gave up. There's nothing wrong with giving up. Like you don't have to do this. And then right after that was just another voice that said like, just go a little bit farther. Like just swim a little bit more and see how you feel. Like you can
Yeah.
quit whenever, but just swim a little bit more and see how you feel. So, all right, I swam a little bit more and okay, here's the next buoy and like okay, that house is moving more, so I know I'm progressing forward. And then finally I was like I said yeah, and then like I saw a kayak and I was like, dude, go hold on to the kayak, just catch your breath, get like reset, like it's
Oh, you're
there for
allowed to do
you.
that?
You're not get Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You're
Oh,
allowed to hold
cool.
on to the kayaks and to the
I didn't know
paddle
that.
boarders to catch yourself, to reset and whatnot. So
Nice.
we went up to it and I chatted with the volunteer there and they were like, dude, take your time, like you're good, you're safe. It's your race. It's your
Yep.
race. Don't worry about anybody else. Like you swim at the pace you can swim at. And then that's where I was like, okay, dude, like I can do this. I can do this as long as I keep swimming kayak to kayak, because then those are like checkpoints for me and I know I'm
Yep.
getting closer and all this stuff. So that's what I did. I just swam kayak to kayak and then kept going. That's the other thing I wanted to bring up was each discipline has a certain time frame that you're allowed to complete it. So for the swim, it's 2 hours and 20 minutes. Everybody individually has 2 hours and 20 minutes to complete the swim. But the course itself, the swim course itself, will not close until the last person enters the water. So when the last person enters the water to swim, 2 hours and 20 minutes after that person is when they close the course. And so if the people who are closing the course catch up to you, like that's like they pull you. You're done. You're not allowed to continue the rest of the race. So I took 2 hours and 33 minutes to complete the swim course. So by technicality, like I took too long. Like I technically should not have been able to continue. But per the athlete's guide, it states in there, you know, anybody who takes longer than 2 hours and 20 minutes to swim, but stays ahead of the swim closure will be allowed to continue if they want the experience. So it's not that you're not getting a DNF just because you already take more than 2 hours and 20 minutes. As long as you're ahead of the swim closure, as long as you're ahead of the people who are closing the swim course, you're going to be allowed to continue to the next portion. The only thing that happens is that you're going to end up with a not classified on your profile. And all
Mm.
that means is that you just took longer on one of the portions than what was allowed, but you
Hmm.
still finished the race.
Right.
So, because literally, as I was like getting towards the end, towards the last bit of it, I was looking at my watch and I was already telling myself like, dude, I don't think you're gonna make it. Like, you're not gonna
Yeah.
make it in time, but you didn't give up. Like, just put your head down and swim, and whatever happens, happens, right? Which is like one of my mottos from Cowboy Bebop, the anime. It's just one of my favorite animes. There's a scene where he says that the main character says that like whatever happens happens, because
Yeah.
and it's like a good affirmation of like you can only control what you can control. I can't
Yeah.
control the time, I can't break it go slower, but I can control my effort. I can swim as fast as I can right now and see if I can make it or anything like that. So that's what I did, and fully expecting to get out of the water and be told like, hey dude, you took too long, we cannot let you continue, we're
Hmm.
sorry, blah blah blah, we're glad you made it out, shit like that. But when I got out of the water, all I heard was like, hey, congratulations on the swimmer, whatever, Alvaro, all this other stuff. And then that was it. Like nobody kept me back, nobody said like, hey, stop
Yeah.
him or anything like that. So I was like, okay, I can keep going. So I kept going. So I look at it as like the reason why I was allowed to continue was because God wanted me to finish the race, because God wanted me to be an example to everybody who's thinking about doing something hard and worry about time limits or anything like that. Like there's a like not essentially like cheating in a bad way, but like I basically cheated the course in a sense, right? But at the end of the day, I still swam the same course as Christian Blumenfeld. I still biked the same course as everybody else, and I still ran the same 26.2 miles as everybody else, dude. Nobody can ever take that away from me. So looking back at it, like after the swim, I won. like I was already victorious because I didn't give up, because I kept going, because I kept my faith that as long as I keep moving forward, God will allow me to accomplish these dreams that He puts in my vision or in my head. So I won. The bike was hard, yeah. On the bike
Mm,
ride, I said to myself, like, I am never doing this shit again, dude. I am selling my bike. As long as I don't have a bike, I can never register for this stuff again.
that's true.
And
Yeah.
then I get done with it, and then the run is what I was looking forward to because that's our bread and butter.
Right.
And then all the stress from the bike hit me on the second lap, and then it slowed me down a lot. But regardless, like I just kept going forward.
Yeah.
Never once I got to the run, never once did I think of like, hey, I should tap out or anything like that, because this was
Mm.
art. Like, I've been here before. I've done the 26 miles before. There's nothing. This is nothing new to me. This is literally it. Like, I just finished this, and then I get the glorious words said to me, and then I get the medal and all the jazz, and then I'm allowed to get the tattoo.
Yeah,
So
yeah. That's funny.
so yeah,
And
that's
by the
was
way, all in under 2 months, which is again insanity. Like that's
yeah,
not
and that's
supposed
the
to
other thing
happen.
I tell myself too. Yeah, because the
Yeah.
only other person I know who did anything close to that was Matthew Johnson, and he's already well in, running across
Yeah.
Texas twice, doing
Yeah.
2 Ironmans before this as well, doing all the being a sub 3 marathoner and all this other stuff. He's already got the aerobic base for it, dude. He's the
Yeah.
only other person I know that could have taken 40-day notice to complete an Ironman and still do it within like 10 hours or whatever,
Yeah, he had a good time.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. But that's his job
so
too. He gets paid to do that. That's again, we're
yeah, yeah,
talking
and that's the other thing too.
we're talking two different lifestyles, you know?
Yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah.
So
So yeah, man. But to reference it, yeah, what the Ironman, it just showed me that, like, dude, as long as you don't give up and as long as you always try to do forward progression, like, you're gonna get it. Like, you're gonna get whatever you want. And it's a patience thing because, like, yeah, I didn't finish the swim in the time I wanted to, but I finished the swim, regardless, right? I I had the voice of reason. I had the voice of giving up in me, and I fought that voice, and I completed it. And then I had, struggles on the bike when it started raining, when we got crazy headwind as well, when it became cold after during the run, like all these things that can make people give up and stop. I just kept telling myself, you just keep going forward, dude. Like, you just have to keep going forward, and you're gonna get to the finish line eventually. Um, because I remember, like, I had all these mantras set up to tell myself, and I rarely referred to those mantras after the swim because I was already like I had already won. Like, there was
yeah.
nothing that I needed to remind myself of, like, I could do this because I already proved it to myself. I finished the swim. Hell yeah, I can do this. Let's just see how good I can do this. And that's why I kept going. So yeah, man, it shows me as well that, like, you get exactly what you put in, dude. I only did 2 months worth of training, and I gave a 2 months performance training notice, right? So now I'm super eager to be able to take more time to train. Like I said, next month I want to start easing into like a training block in a sense, like just do simple like aerobic building phases. By October, I want to start seeing if I can either be financially ready to take on a coach, because a coach is like 250 to 300 a month
Okay. That's a big
for
step.
the marathon. Yeah,
Yeah.
for the Ironman and for the Houston Marathon as well, because I haven't registered yet. I'm waiting for registration to open back up. I'm absolutely gonna do Houston Marathon again because I got some shit to settle with it, as far as like having that injury mid run pop up during the Houston Marathon this year. So I obviously want to beat my time in that, and obviously just get like an actual live human being to be able to collaborate with on the training for Ironman. If not, then obviously I'm just gonna stick to ChatGPT. But come October, I'll increase the intensity for it, do more marathon focused training, and then of course at the end of January it'll be straight back into just more dedicated triathlon training again.
That's cool. Yeah. So where it looks like the next year is kind of going deeper, being more intentional, setting like milestones and continuing to put in the work for the foreseeable future. It sounds that's very exciting. Did you sell the bike? Did you keep it?
I kept the bike.
You
Yeah, yeah,
kept the bike,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that bike's not going anywhere. Obviously, it's like it's too sentimental now. So at the end of it, obviously, I'm gonna like just take everything apart at some point and just keep the frame and
Yeah.
hang it on the wall or whatever.
That's
But
super cool.
there's no way I can let go of that bike now.
Yeah.
I'm looking into getting a time trial bike now.
Mm.
Mm. So obviously, it's like biking literally is one of the few sports to where literally if you get better equipment, you can perform better.
Yeah.
It's not it does rely more on, you have to make yourself a better athlete to be able to power the machine better. But of course, the geometry of a time trial bike is completely different than what your normal road bike is. So it
Yeah.
can definitely help me cut down time on the bike portion of the Ironman as well.
Yeah, that is so true because like you are doing the work, but you're on the mechanism that is. So if you could upgrade the
Hmm.
mechanism, like that will help you tremendously. Yeah, it's being when you say like being financially ready, that is so true. It's not just mentally; sometimes it is financially, especially for these bigger races. So, yeah,
Dude,
man, I'm we're at 2:45. This is crazy. We've gotten
yeah,
this
uh-huh,
is a lot. I'm ready
yeah.
to kind of just wrap it up, a couple minutes, and if
Hmm.
you're good to go, how do you feel right now? You good?
Yeah, yeah, I'm good. I
Okay.
just want to end it with one more thing is
Yeah.
like the thing that I told one of my buddies is that the scariest thing about any of these processes is the registration. That is the scariest part because it's not just because it's the money, dude. It's literally the money because even a 5K can cost anywhere between like 30 to 60 bucks, right? That's a tank of gas for most people, right? Or
Hmm.
that's food for the week or
In this
whatever.
economy.
In this economy, yeah. And then it's like that's literally the commitment right there, right? Because the date's set, the everything's gonna be organized, It goes back into earlier when I said like I never knew how important goals were because regardless, when you register for something, whatever it is, a 5K, even if it's just like a mile run or whatever, but whatever you're registering for, a 5K, an Olympic triathlon, a sprint triathlon, half marathon, marathon, ultra marathon, cycling events, swimming events, what the fuck ever, dude. Whatever you're registering for and putting money down for, that's the ultimate sign of commitment because usually you can't back out of it at that point. You can't get a refund and you can't transfer it as well. Um, so that is the scariest part because no matter what, after you register, that day is gonna happen. And that's what I told one of my buddies is that's what I appreciate about the registration and the goals is because you register and then it's up to you at that point. That day is gonna come regardless. But are you gonna be ready that day? What are you gonna do in between the day you register and race day that's gonna help you prepare for that? Is what I'm telling people now is that literally, dude, the easy part is race day. Like the hard part is training, committing the time, putting in the effort, knowing that come whatever day in the future, that day is gonna be race day. And you're either gonna show 4 months of progress, 6 months of progress, a year of progress, 2 months of progress, or you're gonna show 2 months of fucking around, 5 months of fucking around, 6 months of fucking around. So that's to me, registering is already the biggest step you will ever take. It's anything after that. And in theory and essence and speaking terms, it's easy in the sense that like all you have to do is start and figure it out from there.
Yeah. In this economy, you got to put your money where your mouth is. That's
Yeah,
what it comes down
absolutely
to.
for sure.
Because once you, there's this huge sense of commitment once you put that money down. Like that bank
Mhm.
that leaves your bank, boom, you're like, oh man, I really got to do this now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
uh,
that's crazy.
for
I
sure.
love that, man. Dude, this has been awesome. That is great advice. And I think that is the catalyst to kick everything off. Is like the registration is your catalyst, and you have to like, you just got to do it. If you just do it, then you're like,
For
that's
sure.
it's beginning. And then it's like ChatGPT, and you can figure it out. Yes, the economy's hard, but like, we also have AI now. And like, figure it out. You have buddies, you have friends, people want to support you.
Hmm.
It feeds other parts of your life. Goal setting will make you stronger and more disciplined, which will then feed into your relationships, your work, your just mind, and how strong you can be in like different aspects. So, bro, this is great. I really, really, this was awesome. I
Hmm.
want to keep up with your training. You got a couple. You got marathons, triathlons. Are you doing another like mini sprint maybe or anything in the summer?
No, like the only thing that's tempting me right now is Ironman Waco. That's happening in
That's
November, I
right.
think, or
Told me about that.
October.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
that's 70.3. So that's the only thing that's tempting me. The only thing, again, 70.3 is a $500 registration, and then there's hotel, and then I think I already have the weekend off, so I would just need like one day of vacation to utilize.
Yeah.
but like I said, it's the finances are the biggest thing, you know. Is
Yeah.
it, you know, it's that thing. Is it going to be beneficial to me to spend that money to participate in that event, or should I just stay home and, you know, keep working out and, you know, all this other stuff? So, but
There's
between
go ahead.
here and January, the only thing I have is Houston Marathon in January. Next month, I'll be able to register for that and get that officially in the books.
Nice.
But between then, I don't have anything planned. So it's very nice because there's little stress to
Yeah.
from
Now you just got
there.
to keep
Yeah.
that base though. Just like
Hmm.
just like
For sure.
stay at it a little bit, yeah. Bro, this is awesome. Do you have any final stuff, and then I'll stop it, but do you feel like, yeah, what do you have any final thing to say?
Man, dude, you just gotta believe in yourself. You have to be fucking delusional. And people aren't gonna believe in you. Some people won't. Some people will think it's not worth it. Some people will say I could never do that. And you're right, you can't. I can though. You know? That's exactly what I told one of my managers at work is he
That's
asked me,
funny.
"Have you done a 70.3 before?" I said, "No." And he's like, "So you're going straight into the full?" It's like, "Yeah." He's like, "You know, most people start off with a 70.3. I'm not most people. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I know what I'm capable of. I know what I can be capable of. And dude, as long as you can believe in yourself, and you know, visualization is such a powerful thing, dude. As long as you can visualize yourself doing it, dude, you can fucking do it for sure.
And then have a good pose.
And
Make
I
sure you
have a
get a
good
good
pose,
pose.
dude.
You
You
got to get the
gotta,
pose. Let's go.
uh-huh. Let's
We're
go.
going to end it like this, man. The
Hmm.
pose. Shout out. Shout out Mexico's baseball team. Let's go.
Now, Mexico, viva Mexico.
Viva Mexico. Boo. I'm going to stop it right there.
Cool, cool.